Alrighty, hello everyone, my name's Caden and welcome back to more Phoenix Wright Ace Attorney Dual Destinies. Last time we began the fourth case and had a very interesting moment where it's actually the fourth place takes place just before and then after the first case, so it's been really interesting so far, and now we're getting further into the trial about what Cosmos actually saw, because it turns out he may have been, what was it? Was he the one who fired and then I think he was one of the ones that fired a gun at the scene, so let's see if we can't figure out more. Shall we? Hey, stop spinning.
Director Cosmos, a new possibility has been presented by the defense. They are claiming that you are this third person. Forgive me. I'm so sorry.
So the great pioneer of space development is revealed to be just another fabulous cur. I only have one question for the likes of you. Shall I send you off quickly or very quickly? Would you stop antagonizing the old man? The evidence doesn't lie, Director Cosmos, so don't try and talk your way out of this.
I'll tell the truth. It's all as you say, Mr. Wright. It's true that I was there in the board lounge. I got there before Detective Arm, and when she arrived, she fired warning shots at me.
Alright.
I was afraid people would mistake me for the killer, so I escaped to the control room. I then went past the elevators and all the way around to the boarding lounge one again. I came up on Detective Arm and pretended to be the second on the scene.
What a troublesome old man you are, with such convoluted deeds and thoughts.
I see. So then, are you still insisting that you did not kill the victim? Of course I am. When I arrived at the lounge alone, I saw the true killer. The great Yuri Cosmos was a history-making witness. Hold it!
Stop. Now hold on just one moment. We just proved a few minutes ago that the third person that Mr. Starbuck and Miss Aura Blackwell saw was you.
No, it wasn't me. I saw that person as well. Why would I lie and cover Mr. Starbuck? I would just leave him to take the fall.
That's an excellent point.
All I wanted was to protect Starbuck. I said I was in the control room to invent an escape route for a third person.
Well, it makes some sense if you told those lies to cover for Mr. Starbuck. Still, a lie's a lie, Athena. So Director Cosmos claims he's not the culprit, but where's the proof?
I just remembered. I have an alibi. Miss Blackwell said she saw the killer at 10 a.m., correct?
Yes, and?
Well, I was on the 4th floor helping with the evacuation effort. Ask any member of the staff you like. They'll collaborate with me. Corroborate me.
The director's not fibbing into the course for once. I confirm that he has an alibi for the time specified. So, you're claiming that Miss Blackwell saw the killer commit the crime first at 10 a.m. And that you arrived at the lounge after that?
Yes, I believe the person I saw is the same person that Mrs. Blackwell saw. Although it was pitch black, so it was more of a shadowy figure and less of a person. I couldn't actually see their face, but it was definitely the silhouette of an earthling.
As long as he has an alibi, we can't very well claim Director Cosmos was the killer. No, we can't. Then again, maybe we don't need to yet. I wonder if he was really covering for Mr. Starbuck. Your Honor, defense moves to have the director testify about the person he saw.
Very well. Director Cosmos, your testimony, please.
Alrighty. What I really witnessed.
As I tried to enter the lounge, the true killer inside fired a gun at me. I had to avoid getting shot. But when I tried to get an outlook, they had vanished into thin air. I was near the hospital side, the elevator side door, and I don't know why I said hospital. And well, the launch pad one door, and the control room doors should have been shut tight to the killer.
So you were shot at by the killer as well? And then they disappeared?
Yes, though luckily no harm came to my glorious body. Unfortunately, the bullet hit Terran's oxygen tank. I know because I heard a pang. That must have been the sound of the tank being ruptured.
Wait, but I thought the bullet hit his metal. That was Detective Arm's bullet, remember? Right. What a mess this is turning into. So, let's see. Director Cosmos is claiming that when he found Mr. Terran and his killer, the culprit shot a .10 caliber bullet at him. Right, but it actually hit Mr. Terran's oxygen tank and ruptured it. And then the killer disappeared, and the director went into the boarding lounge. When Detective Arm caught up and fired those warning shots at him, judging by his medal, it looks like one of them almost took him out, too. Good summary, but that doesn't explain where our mystery killer went. Director Cosmos, I was wondering if you could elaborate on when the figure disappeared.
I'm ashamed to admit it. I tried to hide myself when I was shot at, but, when I peeked back into the lounge, the real killer was gone. I rushed into the lounge straight away to investigate, but what I found was staring with a knife in his chest and Starbuck out cold on the floor.
So we have a culprit who vanished from a scene that had no escape. Ape root.
Vanished without a trace. It's truly like one of the great mysteries of the cosmos.
Silence! A riddle of the ages, indeed. But I'd rather know. How a fibbing leech such as you can be lauded as great.
A great man is always misunderstood in his own time. But he must remain true to himself, even if those around him don't understand.
Wow, that might be the first true statement he said all day. But how do you suppose this person managed to vanish so suddenly? There is one thing I'm thinking of that it's risky, I feel, considering I don't even know where you would end up. But, do I have, like, a layout of the room? No, do I? Hang on. Okay, no. Simple. Because it was Space Boy himself. When he was spotted by the director, Nora... Apologies. This whole nonsense is getting to me. When he was spotted by the director, Nora, he quickly feigned unconsciousness. That would certainly take all the mystery out of the idea of a vanishing culprit. I want to raise an objection, but I don't have any counter-evidence. Director Cosmos, when you saw this person, did you also see Mr. Starbuck on the floor?
No, because it was as dark as a black hole in there. I didn't see Starbuck until the other person vanished and I entered the room.
Wasn't exactly helpful. I'm prepared to accept your surrender, right, Dono? I can't find any holes in this testimony, but I can't give up. Mr. Wright, why don't you let me help? Huh? While the director was giving his testimony, I detected a cacophony of discord. Which means he's hiding his true feelings from us, huh? This just might help us find out what happened to our vanishing killer. That'd be great, Athena. Let's see what you can do with him. You got it, boss. I wouldn't want to miss this chance to delve into a great mind. Your Cosmos, prepare to hand over the secrets of your heart to me. Let's go. Time to clear up some noise. 100%. As I try to enter the lounge, the true killer inside fired a gun at me. I hid to avoid getting shot, but when I tried to get another look, they had vanished into thin air. Okay, so, I don't know about you, Cosmos, but, wouldn't you, be really surprised about that? You must have thought it was very strange that the killer vanished into thin air.
I did. That kind of thing just doesn't happen usually.
And yet, at the time, you barely registered any shock at the occurrence.
Huh? Why are you...
I can only think of one reason as to why you weren't surprised by the killer's vanishing act. You must have had a good idea of where they went. Isn't that right?
No, of course not. It's preposterous. Only I can enter the control room. And the area beyond the launchpad door was filled with smoke, making it impassable. And as for the southern door, I was standing right there. There's nowhere for the killer to run.
Maybe, or maybe not. You went into the room to check on Mr. Starbuck and Mr. Taryn, yes? What if the culprit took that opportunity to silently slip out through the southern door?
I highly doubt it. As you recall, right after I entered the lounge, Detective Vaughn came rushing towards it herself via the southern hallway. Anyone trying to escape through there would have been caught by her.
And yet the director wasn't surprised the killer vanished. So you're absolutely sure that there was no escape route for the culprit to use?
It's working, boss. One more punch and it'll be a knockout. There seems to be one more motion that's at odds with this testimony. Go get it.
Okay, back in the Matrix it is. Time to pinpoint our way to victory. I was near the elevator side door, and well, the launchpad 1 door.
Got it!
May I ask why you're sad? Correct me if I'm wrong, but you seem to be afraid of the launchpad door.
Great Gary Cosmos, afraid? What reason do you have for that outlandish accusation?
Whether I have any base or not, you seem quite distressed by it.
Most certainly not.
Enough. Director Cosmos. There's something about the launchpad at door that you're not telling us, isn't there?
Wow, he's speechless. Looks like you hit the nail on the head, boss. I'll just input those 2 pieces of data and... Yes, just what I wanted to see.
70%.
Presto Chingo. Less Discord. It looks like we're on the right track.
Thanks, Athena. Now that makes sense of what we've learned. Director Cosmos wasn't surprised that the culprit suddenly vanished from the lounge, which points to the possibility that he knew where the killer had escaped to. Furthermore, talking about the door to the launchpad made him uneasy. In other words, he's probably hiding something about the launchpad 1 door. When we put these 2 pieces together, only one solution to this puzzle comes to mind. Director Cosmos, did the real killer escape through here? It seems like he's pointing towards the door actually being what it was. Did you happen to escape through the door? The culprit went through the launchpad 1 door to escape, didn't they?
Yes. I know. It's after the someone. We're going to cross into an asteroid.
A master tactician, you are not.
The area beyond that door was filled with smoke, wasn't it?
True. This is still the only logical answer there is. If we can just figure out what the director is hiding about the launchpad 1 door, we should be able to iron out the logical inconsistencies.
The door requires fingerprint recognition. Only Sobek, Terran, and I have access. I don't see how the killer could have opened that security lock. Do you?
That's an easy one. The killer was right there in the boarding lounge, meaning there's a way he could have easily gotten past that security lock. All he had to do was use someone else's prints, couldn't he? Come to think of it, we did examine the prints on the fingerprint recognition device. I propose that the killer used this person's fingerprints to get past the security lock. May I look back at my evidence? I can't, actually. Was it Starbucks?
Take that!
That's... Mr. Starbuck was lying unconscious there in the boarding lounge. Anybody could have easily gone past the security lock by using Mr. Starbuck's prints. And actually, Mr. Starbuck's prints are exactly what we found on the device's screen. Looks like he does have something to hide about the Launchpad 1 door. And I'm betting it's got something to do with the culprit's escape route. I don't have enough information to see the whole picture yet. You know, something just occurred to me. Would you like to hear it? Uh-huh. Oh, yes, by all means. There's a security camera in boarding lounge 1. Right, the one that recorded the victim and the defendant? What about it, Your Honor?
If the true culprit escaped into the launch pad 1 corridor, then that might be recorded on the security footage as well. Then the mystery would be solved. What do you think of my logic?
I hope you didn't strain your faculties too much for that, your boldness.
I beg your pardon?
Look, if we play the security footage beyond that point... Good.
Oh, my. The footage cuts off.
The camera was running on backup power, but apparently the power cables were damaged. Most likely by the after effects of the explosion. There is no footage after this, be it of criminals or space aliens.
And I thought it was such a good idea, too.
Just because your grandchild is watching from the gallery. It doesn't mean you should try to show off too much. Grandpa baldness.
Prosecutor Blackwell, how did you know about my grandchild?
I think his grandchild just learned a little about the harshness of the adult world.
Well, anyways, setting aside the issue of grandchildren, I'd like to have the witness continue. Director Cosmos, could you tell us more about when you entered the lounge? Alright. I hid to avoid getting shot. After the killer vanished, I went into the lounge. That's when Detective Arm appeared from the elevator side door. And then the detective shot at me. You see, the killer could have only escaped to the launch pad, right? Hang on. And then the detective shot at me. So, what I find curious about this, Cosmos, is anger. Wait, that's not curious? When we view your emotions, we find reality. Wait a minute. Really isn't anything strange here.
I don't know, but I think we made a mistake, Mr. Wright.
I think maybe you're right.
Let's take another look. There must be an unexpected emotion here somewhere.
Is it sadness? Thankfully, this doesn't damage me. Director Cosmos, why were you so surprised when Detective Arm found you and again when she fired? Isn't that a bit unnatural? Knock knock?
Sadly, even great men such as myself have ordinary human feelings. Our bodies are bound by the forces of gravity and emotions. Even a great man such as myself experiences surprise on occasion.
Yes, I'm sure you do. But my real point is not the fact that you were surprised, but rather what you were surprised by.
Pardon me?
First, you were surprised when Detective Arm found you in the lounge. And just after that, you were of course again surprised when she shot at you. But considering what you were surprised about, a strange phenomenon occurs here. Director Cosmos, what is strange about your surprise reaction is the fact that you were... Wait. Hang on. I don't know, actually, but... I'm foolish! Wait, were you more surprised when Arm came in? Sure, you were surprised when Detective Arm shot at you. But the surprise you felt when she found you in the lounge was much greater. The fact that you were more surprised by simply being found than by being shot at suggests to me that you were conflicted about whatever it was you were doing there.
The enemy has acquired a new weapon! Commence operation hide on your desk!
Please tell me I finally sunk his battleship. Nope, we're still there.
Boss, I'm getting less Discord now. It must mean he really is hiding something about that launch pad door.
Whatever he's hiding most likely has something to do with the killer's escape.
I wonder what it could be.
He was doing something suspicious around that door. Maybe we can spot some change between before he came to the room and after.
Detective Fulbright, it gave us a photo taken after the crime. Let's run a comparison. Let's see, this is footage of the door before Director Cosmos arrived. And this is how the door looked after Director entered the lounge.
Hey, look at that! There is a change. Something's definitely different. Hang on, what was it? Director Cosmos.
What is it? What have you been doing up to over there?
Finding the answer to what you were doing when Detective Arm found you, that's right. And that answer lies clearly in this footage. I see it. I see it, and that's interesting. It's that weird knob. The one to the left of the thing. It's turned. I hadn't even noticed that, but it's turned. All we have to do is compare it to the photo that was taken during the investigation.
Don't be ridiculous. If you do have an answer, you'd have pointed it out already.
He's asking for it. This is what changed directly after the incident. It has to be the knob, right? It's the only thing that looks different. So what exactly does that knob do, remind me? Wasn't it some... Anyways, the point is, this is what changed. The answer is this knob. Your Honor, please take a look at this footage.
Let's see.
Take a look at the knob next to the launchpad door. As you can see, it's horizontal.
Yes, it is, isn't it?
However... When we investigated the scene of the crime yesterday, the knob was vertical.
And what does that mean?
It means that sometime between before the director arrived and after, someone turned this knob. After the scene was discovered, you were the only one who could have turned the knob. Come on now, Director Cosmos. Let's hear what you have to say. What were you trying to do by turning that knob by the door?
Right. I did turn that knob. That knob is a safety lock meant to keep the launch pad in place. I was afraid there would be more explosions. And so I wanted to move the launch pad away.
You wanted to do what?
Hey, didn't Punko tell us something about how they prepare for launch? She said that once the launch pad's fully assembled, it's moved to the launch site.
Wait, then where the hell was this? Wait, that means the crime scene might not have been where it could have been.
The safety lock in the boarding lounge has to be disengaged first.
I guess that clears up what the knob's for.
Oh, so if the killer escaped to the Launchpad 1 corridor, maybe they were transported along with the launchpad to the launch site.
I don't think so. Launchpad 1 corridor was filled with smoke. I don't think they could have escaped through that corridor.
So then where did the killer escape to?
I guess there are still some things we have to uncover. Alright. Director Cosmos, I request that you tell us about moving the launchpad in more detail.
Listen carefully, for I'm about to give history-making testimony.
Alright. Here we go. I had no choice but to disengage the safety lock. Alright, do we need to go forward with this? I don't know about you, but something seems awfully strange here. Like, why are you happy? I had no choice but to disengage the safety lock. Make it sound like you were reluctant to do so. And yet, when you did it, you felt some joy, as if you were very pleased with yourself.
How did you know it? How do you know everything as if you were there?
Pretty impressive, isn't it? This is the power of analytical psychology.
So, care to explain why you felt joy when you disengaged the safety lock? When I think back on the facts we've discovered up to now, I have to believe that you were trying to fulfill some hidden agenda. Because I'm more or less bro. Guessing.
You have no proof that I have an hidden agenda. Even though I did, I would never ever tell you, so there.
I know they say people regress as they grow older, but you, sir, take the gag.
And how can you doubt a man with such great intensity, intelligence, and integrity? Silence.
Uh-oh. You've angered Blackwell.
You, a man of integrity. Don't make me laugh.
Prosecutor Blackwell? What came over him all of a sudden?
You spouted nothing but falsities since you stepped up to the stand. You're not the kind of man that will be glorified in the annals of history. Not for greatness, anyway. Unless you consider greatest barefaced liar an honor.
His words bite harder than a blade.
You moved Launchpad 1 after the explosions. My, how naive you are. You fail to realize how even the facts themselves have betrayed you.
You know, just a thought, but modern English can be your friend.
No, that's boring. And here's a thought for you. Immediately following the bombing, Launchpad 1 was on the boarding lounge 1 side. The police confirmed this on the scene.
What? That means the director didn't move the launch pad.
Curse my judgment for calling history's greatest lie to the witness stand. Let us leave him to indulge in his lies and war games to his heart content.
Objection!
Okay, first off, someone stopped the old man from spinning. Second off, but it doesn't make sense. You can't deny that someone turned that knob. And once the safety lock was released, I'm sure the pad must have went somewhere. If we chase down the truth of this issue, we just might find out where the killer escaped to.
Yuck! You're sure it must have went somewhere? We just might find out. Your arguments are nothing but conjecture, bluffing, and wishful thinking. Stop chasing your fantasies and see reality for what it really is. Or are you not man enough to, boy?
Talk about hanging below the belt. Youngins these days. I don't understand it. I'm sure Director Cosmos must have moved the launch pad. The knob was definitely turned after he came to the lounge. The launch pad is right where it's supposed to be. Ah. Wait a minute. Maybe I have it all backwards. What if the director turned the knob, but not to move the launch pad away, to bring it back to where it was supposed to be?
What are you blathering about?
What if the launch pad was at the launch site before the incident? And then, after the incident, Director Cosmos moved it back to its usual spot. All he had to do was turn the knob to call the launch pad back. And it would be right where the police found it. Name's Silent Mr. Starbuck. Was what I said really that off base?
It pains me to have to explain how wrong your own logic is to you. However, our great liar turned the knob only after he discovered the crime scene. Indeed, the pad existed beyond the lounge when our Astro Wonders made their escape. A fact that has been recorded for posterity on filmless film.
Oh, right.
So, to reiterate, stop chasing your fantasies and see reality for what it really is, boy.
Get a grip, Mr. Wright, and focus. We know the launch pad must have been moved.
Their deductions and the actual facts of the case are in direct contradiction to each other.
Well, maybe the two astronauts never actually boarded the rocket. This footage could be fake, taken with the body doubles after the incident or something.
Athena.
On second thought, that's too far-fetched, even for me.
Never actually boarded the rocket. Wait, hang on. Hey, wait a minute. Maybe just maybe. Huh? Hang on. Prosecutor Blackwell, what if I told you that the two astronauts never set foot inside the launch pad area, but instead went to another place? And what if when the director moved the launch pad 1 back, it was not from the launch site, but from another place? What would you say then?
Cut the existential bull or I cut you. Mr. Wright, you will explain yourself at once. I know I'm right. It was all the other way around from the beginning.
Very well, Your Honor. Let me explain. Director Cosmos' reason for moving Launchpad 1 was... It was to switch it with another place, wasn't it? They weren't in the actual rocket, were they? They were in the museum one. Because he wanted to switch it with some other place.
I'm sorry, but did you just say switch it? But what could we possibly have switched the launch pad with?
Oh, you'd be surprised, Your Honor. All it takes is a little thinking outside the box, and the answer becomes clear as day. This is what was switched with Launchpad 1. It's pretty obvious. It was the Space Museum.
Take that!
Launchpad 1 was switched with... Space Museum? In the past, the Space Museum used to be Launchpad 2. It has all the same features as Launchpad 1, and can even be moved to the launch site. Meaning, the Space Museum and Launchpad 1 can be switched with each other.
You can't mean...
The rocket the astronauts boarded was not the one in Launchpad 1. It was the one in the Space Museum!
What?
You rolled it dust! And yet, it's the only explanation that accounts for every riddle and inconsistency. This is how the Space Center was just before the incident.
I see Launchpad 1 and the Space Museum have already switched places.
That's right. And with the two switched, it's like this. The astronauts entered the Space Museum from Boarding Lounge 1. This allowed the True Killer to enter Launchpad 1 from Boarding Lounge 2, and set the bomb on the rocket. Come to think of it, the door to the Space Museum from Boarding Lounge 2.
Welcome, welcome. The Space Museum is open to the public every day of the year from 9 a.m. to 7 p.m.
Exactly. Anyone could pass through the doors of the Space Museum. There's no fingerprint recognition system on that door. In other words, with the two launch pads switched like that, someone other than Mr. Starbuck could have easily planted the bomb. After setting the bomb on the rocket, the culprit snuck into Boarding Lounge 1 and waited there, concealed, in order to kill Mr. Terran when the two astronauts emerged from the Space Museum. Recall that Miss Blackwell, Mr. Starbuck, and the director all saw a suspicious figure, who, we can suppose after killing Mr. Terran, made their escape into the Space Museum. After that, Director Cosmos switched the two launch pads back, without realizing the killer was inside the Space Museum. Yep, there it goes. And thus our real crime scene is created. The killer then left the Space Museum and made a clean getaway. Right, now. I see you know how to handle a sword and handle it well. Perhaps I should call you Swordmaster Bluff. I'm a seasoned warrior who has cut down many a prosecutor.
Silence!
But unless you can prove your theory, it's no better than a rusty sword.
That's right. You have no proof that I switched the launch pad.
Somebody needs a better anger management counselor.
Launchpads really were switched. There might be a record of it somewhere.
At this point, Launchpad 1 and the Space Museum were switched with each other.
So the corridor beyond the door should be the one that belongs to the Space Museum. Let's see, this is an image of the Launchpad 1 corridor. Do you see anything different when we compare it to the security footage?
Wait! I have an idea. Aha! Just barely, you can see behind them. It's not a 1. Huh? Number on the floor. Yep. It's a 2. It's a 2 in the footage. Well, what do you know? It looks like we have a proof after all, Prosecutor Blackwell. This is just another bluff. Oh, don't worry. It's all right here. Right in this footage. Proof that beyond this door is the corridor to the Space Museum.
Very well then. Answer this for me if you would. What's in this footage proves that the corridor belongs to the Space Museum?
Finally.
Take that!
There. There's a 1 on the floor at the launch of the Launchpad 1 corridor. But take a look at the floor of the corridor in the security footage. Do you see the number on the floor behind the astronauts? It doesn't look like a 1, does it? That's because what you see is actually part of a 2. What? Why is it 2? Why is it a 2 and not a 1? That's because the corridor you see in this is the one to the Space Museum.
So that means... the corridor in this footage was not filled with smoke.
That's right, because the explosion didn't occur in the Space Museum, meaning someone could have a free getaway. The explosion occurred in Launchpad 1, on the side opposite of the Space Museum. Now that we know the two astronauts escaped from the Space Museum, the mystery from the previous trial of how they got down on the ladder is cleared up. Mr. Terran, carrying Mr. Starbuck, simply took the elevator from the upper level down to the middle level.
Just incredible. The two launch pads were actually switched. But you'd think someone would have noticed in an event of this magnitude.
Everyone was down in the basement shelter when the launch pads were swapped back. There's no way anyone could have known what was happening on the surface. No more noise. There was never any smoke to begin with. At least not in the spot where the killer escaped to. Bye-bye. Alright.
No more lies, Director Cosmos.
It's high time.
You told us the truth!
My glory! Everything is slipping away! I can deploy my ultimate weapon! Galactic engine! Ignition! It's got it! It won't stop! My son! My glory!
Oh god.
Oh, not that way!
Okay, he's gone.
Bailiff, on your seat and after that witness.
He's escaped. Ah. And all your stars are gone.
I see we managed to retrieve you before you came to any bodily harm. Director Cosmos,
Do you admit you switched the launch pads?
I admit it's true. I switched Launchpad 1 for the Space Museum.
it was good to hear words I can believe for a change.
Before you do, Your Honor, two things. First, we don't know if Mr. Terran had prior knowledge of the switch. As for Mr. Starbuck, he was unaware of his surroundings thanks to his medication. Either way, Mr. Terran would have realized the instant he stepped into the Space Museum that it had been switched with the Launchpad 1. So my first question is, if the Space Museum was perfectly fine, why did Mr. Terran feel the need to put on such a dramatic display? Yeah. As for my second question, I'd like Director Cosmos to tell us why he switched two launch pads to begin with.
Please, I can't. I exercise my right to remain silent. But I will say, my hands were tied. I was only doing what I could to keep my men from getting caught in that blast.
Director is terrified. He must have one heck of a reason for not wanting to explain why.
Is he being blackmailed by the killer then? Probably not a good time to try and pry it out of him, huh?
Excuse me, but would you mind if I picked up my stars? Without my badge of rank, I'm nothing.
I don't see why not. Bailiff, help the director retrieve his stars.
Here you go.
It appears the possibility of a culprit other than the defendant has presented itself. Mr. Starbuck, is there anything you wish to say?
I don't get it.
You don't get it? What don't you get?
Director, why did you do all that? From the very beginning, you never meant for the launch to go ahead, did you? You tricked us!
Mr. Starbuck.
Starbuck, my boy, I'm sorry. I can't tell you the reason why. I had to do it to protect the Space Center. Director, will I ever get the chance to go into space again? Yes. Yes, of course. I won't rest until it happens. I will get you into space again, my boy.
The dream is still alive. Silence!
Huh? Uh-oh. What now, Blackwell?
You're not going into space, Starbuck, but prison. I won't have it any other way.
Why are you so hung up on him?
Yes, I accept that the launch pads really were switched. And if there were a third person at the scene, I suppose they could have escaped. But I have yet to see proof of this third person's escape via the Space Museum.
Oh, that's a good point. He's right. I don't have any proof.
Starbuck, you will spill everything you know. Where did you get those bombs? Tell me now. If you don't, my blade shall feast on your blood. I don't want to die, please.
I have to do something.
Solomon Starbuck. Yourself.
Yeah, I had a feeling that was coming.
Now, you know the violence isn't the answer, Prosecutor Blackwell. That annoyingly cheerful voice. To be none other than... the detective! Champion of righteousness, Bobby Fulbright here! In justice we trust! Dr. Fulbright! Sorry to keep you waiting, Mr. Lawyer. I hope I'm not too late.
I don't believe we had an appointment.
I tried to hurry, but I ended up helping a little old lady across the street. And then I had to break up a cat fight. I tell you, justice is sure is a full-time job.
Was it a fight between cats, or...
Why are you here again? Because the defendant isn't the culprit, and I came to make sure of that, and justice is served.
I don't have any idea what you're talking about.
Fulbright, I always thought you were a bit touched in the head. But have you finally succumbed? Nope, but it looks like you've succumbed to this phantom of yours. Open your eyes and let the evidence of justice uncloud your judgment. What evidence?
Come to think of it, he did say something about finding us some evidence.
Thanks, you two. I feel a lot better now that I've been able to get that off my chest. I'm going to work extra hard to find that perfect piece of evidence for you.
Well, spill it.
I didn't think he was serious, though.
Alright. So what is it, Detective? Is this something that will prove Mr. Starbuck innocent?
It is, indeed. Have a look at this.
Oh!
What's this? A lighter? That's right. A lighter thought to have been used by the culprit, no less. The Space Museum's cleaning robot picked it up. It has the victim Clay Terran's blood, along with his killer's fingerprints on it.
You could have shown us that earlier, genius! Alright then, who's the killer?
Order, order. Detective Fulbright, can I assume that the fingerprints don't belong to the defendant? You bet! Mr. Starbuck is totally innocent.
This is it! This is just what I needed! Then, okay, then you're worrying me. Who the hell's fingerprints is it? Your Honor, this is decisive evidence that supports the defense's earlier claim.
Explain yourself, Mr. Wright.
With pleasure, Your Honor. Recall where this lighter was found. Based on that, we can extrapolate that after the killer murdered Mr. Terran, they escaped with lighter in hand into the Space Museum, where they dropped it. The switching of the two launch pads occurred. Then finally, the killer left through the boarding lounge 2 and made their escape. Meanwhile, Mr. Starbuck was found in boarding lounge 1 after the murder, a fact that Director Cosmos has testified to. Therefore, Mr. Starbuck couldn't have possibly been there to drop the lighter.
Silence!
But the defendant had free reign of the area until Director Cosmos appeared. Could he not have dropped the lighter in the Space Museum during that span of time?
Objection!
I don't think so. don't we have a witness account saying of who used? You'd like that to be true, wouldn't you? But Director Cosmos testified that right after he saw the mysterious figure with the lighter, he went into the lounge and found the unconscious Mr. Starbuck. In our words, Mr. Starbuck wouldn't have had the time to double back to the museum. No, Prosecutor Blackwell, this lighter could have only been dropped by the real killer. Most importantly, Mr. Starbuck's fingerprints were nowhere to be found on the slider. I think you understand what this means, don't you? This piece of evidence unequivocally proves that Mr. Starbuck wasn't the culprit.
This does indeed appear to be decisive evidence that proves the defense's claims.
As for the remote switch that was found in Mr. Starbuck's pocket, we can assume it was planted by the killer on the unconscious Mr. Starbuck.
No! There must be some mistake!
Frankly, Prosecutor Blackwell, I've been worried about you. You've been chasing this phantom for 7 whole years. I understand your urgency because tomorrow...
Silence!
Tomorrow?
Bright, you promised never to speak of that.
Huh? Tomorrow? What about tomorrow?
Given the body of evidence, I think it's safe to say the defendant is innocent. In light of the fact that it was impossible for him to have committed the crime, a few unanswered questions remain, so I look forward to seeing what you two uncover. But for now, this court finds the defendant, Solomon Starbuck, not guilty.
Yippee! Yippee! I'm still curious though, whose fingerprints are on that lighter then?
We did, Mr. Wright.
Looks like we pulled it off somehow, huh? With some help from Detective Fulbright.
Mr. Wright, besides, thank you. And please sing a Paul for me too. You all are the best.
Oh, I wish we could tell Paul about Mr. Starbuck's verdict right now.
Yeah, me too. That's gonna have to wait.
Now that a verdict has been reached, I'd like to bring today's trial to a close. Court is adjourned.
Objection!
What? Huh? What do you mean? It's too late to object, isn't it?
It simply isn't possible. Something's wrong.
Prosecutor Blackwell, are you dissatisfied with the verdict?
Yes! Fulbright! What were the results of the fingerprint analysis for the lighter?
Huh? The results? Well, I was in a hurry, you see, and then there was that cat fight, and, well...
You lost it, didn't you?
I kinda got carried away when I heard the prints went to Mr. Starbuck, so...
You have yet to read it!
Prosecutor Blackwell, can you read out who the prints belong to?
On thorough analysis, the fingerprints were found to belong to...
Huh?
So says the report.
What?
What?
Huh?
Me?
Huh? What do you mean? Order, I say! Order! Miss Sykes, tell me you have an explanation for this. We just finished proving that this lighter could only belong to the killer. So finding your prints on it can only lead us to one grave conclusion.
I don't know how they got in there, but I know I'm not the culprit.
This can't be happening. We built up our argument piece by piece. I don't think any of our reasoning was faulty. So how could it have led to this? How the hell?
What have I done? Please forgive me! I'm sorry! Order! Order! Detective Fulbright, stop your crying!
What in the world is happening here? It's like the world's gone mad.
Order! Order! I will have order!
I don't think order is achievable at this point.
Confusion spiraled into utter chaos.
After all we'd fought for, the truth had turned cruelly on us to accuse Athena of the crimes. Somewhere, somehow, everything had gone terribly wrong. We had stumbled over the edge of reason and into the jaws of a twisted darkness. I guess this is probably what's going to be the final case. Oh god, who's that? What the hell happened? My friend! Alright, time for the final case to begin. Turnabout for tomorrow. Alright. I guess we are just continuing off the case, aren't we? No one can escape their past. Oh. Oh, child with blood on it. A child Athena with blood on her. The sins we've committed. And the sadness we've caused. Blackwell. No matter how far we run, our past remains, as ever-present as the moon in the sky. Feels like everything's been leading up to this. There's the moon. It looms in wait for the day when we are forced to face it. But only in doing so can we truly make peace and move on in hope towards tomorrow. Now it's time to save Athena, I guess. December 20th, 1:23 p.m. Write anything agency. They took Athena from the courtroom straight to the station. She's probably being questioned at this very moment. It's lonely in here now. After this past year, I took it for granted that those two would always be here. Now, Apollo's gone off on his own to seek his own truth. And my pursuit of the truth only ended up with Athena becoming the new suspect. Some boss I turned out to be.
It's even quieter in here than usual.
Yeah, it seems so empty too.
I just don't get, Daddy. All your reasoning during the trial seemed perfectly solid.
Yeah, and I still believe it was. At least based on what we know.
No, Athena's the one who's being accused.
During the trial for the bombing and murder that occurred at the Cosmos Space Center, the lighter used by the real culprit was found. This lighter proved the defendant, Solomon Starbuck, innocent. But Athena's prints were found on it instead. And she was subsequently arrested for the murder.
But Athena couldn't have done it. It just doesn't make any sense.
No, none of it does. I've been racking my brain, but I just can't figure it out. Ugh, where's the flaw in my reasoning? What have I got wrong in this case?
You know, Daddy, if Athena was here, she wouldn't just be sitting around thinking. She'd be out there doing something. You are going to defend Athena, right, Dad?
Of course I will. And thanks, Trucy. I need that push. Trucy's right. The trial's tomorrow. There's no time to waste. I'm going to prove Athena's innocence I'd better get out there and find some evidence.
Off we go then. We're on a hunt for evidence that'll prove Athena's innocence.
Great. But before we go, I better tie up the evidence I have on hand. The necessary evidence left at the office. Athena's probably still in the middle of being questioned. So Trucy's right. The thing to start with is talking to people at the Space Center. Look at this.
I guess presenting your attorney's badge. It's like your quick trick, huh, Dad?
So it's just a trick to you, huh?
Well, you are the one at the town center, right? Anything agency, after all. I have to say that an attorney's badge won't give me many laughs.
I don't care if I don't get laughs, as long as I can clear my client's name.
That's a good one, Daddy.
I'm no match for you, though, Trucy.
Daddy, you should be careful about showing evidence to a magician.
That's true. You can make anything disappear.
Well, anything up to about a yard in diameter, anyway. My magic underwear are in extra-dimensional space.
I guess only a space probe can help us figure out how they work then, huh? Anything? Look at this knife with blood on it. Look at this door. I brought an entire door to you, Trucy. Trucy, can you make the decisive evidence disappear or no?
Space, huh? I'd sure love to go up there someday. Will you take me, Dad?
It's not like taking somebody to an amusement park, you know? I can't afford that.
Well, you hardly ever take me to one of those either. You know what? I have to say I don't have money or I don't have time.
Fine, I'll take you on my next day off.
You're the best, Dad.
I'm no match for Trucy. Look at this capsule. Make this disappear. Damn it. What to do?
I still can't believe Apollo really left us.
It's the sun.
Maybe he got tired of being my assistant for my magic tricks.
I don't think it's your fault, Trucy.
But I made him clean the toilet a lot. I made him go bring in the newspaper. It was my fault, I just know it. Oh, Apollo.
I really don't think it was your fault, Trucy. But I didn't realize Paul was wearing so many hats around here either. Damn.
How could they suspect Athena? It's just ridiculous. It must be some kind of conspiracy.
A conspiracy, huh? Well, it certainly is some kind of mistake, that's for sure.
First of all, we have to bust Athena out of the detention center. Then, we have to chase down the people who framed her. We'll sneak around the world from, Kiev to Carolina, with the fuzz on our trails.
Isn't it exactly the same as the plot of the movie you watched the other day? Well, it seems like going to detention center is pointless right now. December 20th, Cosmos Space Center! Entrance. Oh, hey! Director Cosmos, do you have a minute?
Galactic scooter! Full speed ahead!
Wait, stop! Director! He scooted away.
His expression changed the instant he saw you, Dad.
Yeah, well, I dragged his name through the mud pretty good at the trial earlier today. Let's go to the boarding lounge. Cosmos Space Center. Boarding lounge. You were here only yesterday. Oh, hey!
Hey!
Mr. Starbuck, you've been released, huh?
Yep, and I came straight here. This is all thanks to you and your team, Mr. Wright. You're giving me a second chance to fly into space again. You can't thank you enough. Except...
What's wrong? I thought you'd be happy to be acquitted.
As I was coming out of the detention center, I saw Miss Sykes.
He saw Athena.
I was at a loss for words. I didn't know what to say to the poor girl. And then, you know what? She flashed a peace sign at me. Congratulations on your acquittal, she said. Now you can go back into space someday.
Yeah, that sounds like Athena. I can just picture it.
I saw her eyes. They were red and swollen from crying. She's gotta be suffering. She must be so worried. And yet she went out of her way to be nice and give me that big smile.
She held back on her own tears so she could give someone else a smile. That's so Athena.
There's no question about it. That girl's innocent. Please, Mr. Wright, you have to make sure she goes free. And then they can put me in prison instead. I don't mind.
We can't have that either, Mr. Starbuck. Don't worry, Mr. Starbuck. I'm going to give her the very best defense I can. I promise to get her acquitted. Just like I did for you.
I know she'll be alright with you in her corner. I know you'll never give up on her. Paul's a fine boss to look up to.
About the murder.
I still can't believe Launchpad 1 was switched with the Space Museum.
What could have made Director Cosmos do such a thing?
I have the foggiest idea.
It sounds like he might be being blackmailed. Like he might be being forced to.
So there never was gonna be a launch that day. Not from the very beginning. I wonder if Clay knew.
I imagine he must have. Surely you would have noticed when you went to board the rocket.
It's pathetic to think I was the only one who got taken in. Well, I guess that's about how it goes when you're worth less than space debris.
Is he gonna be alright, Dad? His expression looks as dark as a black hole.
Well, that's just how he is. The murderer. Mr. Starbuck, do you remember anything about the murder?
Not really. I only saw a shadowy figure in the dark after all.
Yeah, I guess that was a little too much to hope for.
Hey, I heard something from the police though. They said they never did find a .10 caliber gun down in that trash chute.
Just as I thought. The culprit must have carried it away with them when they escaped.
So was the person you saw holding a gun on Mr. Starbuck?
I couldn't really tell.
But it wasn't Athena, right? Could you tell if the person was male or female, tall or short?
I can't even tell you that much. Man, I'm useless. When the culprit opened the door and some light came in, I should have been able to see.
The door. Ah, yes. As I recall, they opened this door here as they made their escape.
The door to Launchpad 1, right?
Yeah, except right now, the door leads to the Space Museum.
You mean the launch pad and the Space Museum are switched right now?
Yeah, they're trying to investigate the theory you came up with, Core.
So they're recreating the conditions, huh? Let's see what's beyond that door now. Mr. Starbuck, could you open this door for us?
Sure, just let me have my print scan here.
Do the launch pads get switched back and forth a lot?
Well, back when the Space Museum was Launchpad 2, they used to switch the pads around at times.
But these days, Launchpad 2 is only used as a tourist attraction, right?
Right. Because, quite frankly, the Space Center needs some money.
I hear you. Times sure are tough.
Dad, let's go check out what's beyond that door.
Sure, let's go.
Hey, why don't I come along? I can show you around.
Sounds good. Woo! Ooh, what? Leaves. Huh? I wonder what these dead leaves are doing here.
Maybe they were stuck to the bomb to my shoes. There are a lot of trees around the Space Center.
She's right. It's a modern state-of-the-art building, but it's surrounded by trees. But I don't know. If they were stuck to the bottom of somebody's shoes, wouldn't they look more crushed up? These don't look like they've been stepped on.
Maybe there's some kind of secret hatch in the corridor. Maybe they came in that way.
Not everything is set up like a magician's stage, you know. Still, that is interesting. So this is another one of those devices for opening the door, huh?
Yep. This one doesn't require fingerprint verification. You just hit the button and open sesame.
So when you and Clay went through here, you didn't need to show your prints either?
That's right, Trucy. Just like how the culprit didn't need to scan their prints. And they escaped back out of the Space Museum corridor into Boarding Lounge 2. Alright. Well, I don't see anything else that jumps out at me. And I imagine this corridor is built exactly like the Launchpad 1 corridor.
You know anything about this piece of evidence? No, sorry I'm so useless.
No, no, it's alright. There's no need to get all depressed.
Cleo,
Wait, I've already seen this dialogue before, apparently. Keep checking. Keep checking. Check literally everything. Everything. Everything must be checked. Alright. Wait, where to now? Dungeon Center? No! Entrance? December 20th, Cosmos Space Center. Entrance. Oh, hey, I'm back.
Curse the wretch who sullied my good name! The first cause is wolves! Wolves beat away!
Director Cosmos, wait!
I'll handle it, Dad. Take that!
The system has been compromised!
Jersey's knife throw was a direct hit to one of his tires.
And the streak continues.
Maybe I should have kept a closer watch on what tricks she's been practicing.
My dear old battleship! We've fought many a skirmish together. It has been an honor.
Dad, he's gonna blow the thing up!
Nah, I bet all that button will do is make it go haywire again.
Very well, I surrender. As prisoner of war, I expect to be treated honorably.
Switching the launch pad, sir. Director Cosmos, when you were talking in the core about switching the launch pads, you use your right to remain silent about the reason as to why. I'd like Director Cosmos to tell us why he switched to 2 launch pads to begin with.
Please, I can't. I exercise my right to remain silent. I will say, my hands were tired. I was only doing what I could to keep my men from getting caught in that blast. The center of this cosmos is shrouded in mystery, but I don't have any secrets left. Not that my battleship has been destroyed and I've been taken prisoner.
I had a feeling that was gonna happen. Yeah, right. You're still keeping secrets, buddy. No secrets left, huh? I beg to differ. Looks like I'll have to undo Cyclox if I want to get to the bottom of this. Ah, we can go to the Space Museum first, though. I want to do that. December 20th, Cosmos Space Center... Space Museum.
Wow, the place is crawling with cops.
Looks like we won't get any investigating done here now. Let's come back later. Oh,
Dang it.
let me first check what I can do by getting this piece of evidence. More self-absorbed.
What a shame. Really. I've already said things before, apparently. What a shame. Look at me pose. Stop showing me evidence about the time when I was taken prisoner and dragged through the mud in my name. Mankind's crowning achievement. To have one mission will be in textbooks across the land.
Wow, then historic, huh?
My achievements are grand enough to rival the very birth of space itself. My life will be a legend that will be told millions of years into the future. You may proceed to admire and praise me now.
You certainly are an amazing piece of work.
Don't show me that either. Brings back bad memories.
Alright, let's see if we can't figure it out. Alright, buddy. I do like that they made it so that failing in the investigation doesn't matter anymore in terms of, like, damaging you. I always thought that was kind of just silly. I want you to tell me everything you're hiding about the switching of the 2 launch pads.
You can't make me. I can hold out longer than anyone.
I hope I never get like this when I'm old. Now let's see, where to start? This is how you explain your motive for switching to launch pads. You did it to save the astronauts. Thanks to you switching to launch pads, the astronauts escaped injury from the blast. Instead, they safely boarded the museum's rocket, far away from the actual explosion.
My astronauts were raring to go out on an authentic adventure in space. How do you propose I had them board a fake rocket without them noticing?
I agree you couldn't have done it without help. For one, they would have figured it out the instant they stepped into the Space Museum. You figured you could fool Mr. Starbuck once he'd been drugged with his medication, but without the help of this person, it would have been impossible to pull your plan off. Was it Candace Arm?
Take that!
Wasn't this person, was it?
Wait on here. Shut up.
Oh, guess I was right about being wrong. Well, I did say it wasn't this person, didn't I? I still contend that.
Take that!
Was it Aura?
Shut up. Leave me alone.
Athena!
Take that!
Wait to kill her.
Apollo!
Take that!
I actually don't know at this point. I'd forgotten that Juniper's even a part of, like, was ever included in any of the... Wait. You must have gotten Mr. Terran to help you. Oh! Terran himself was part of the plan. He stole the tranquilizers from his mentor's locker and slipped them to him. And then, with Mr. Starbuck in a daze, they board the replica rocket in the museum.
Someone please help me for Resident Evil!
How's he able to spin around like that? If you really wanted to save the astronauts' lives, shouldn't you have just called off the launch?
If I could have done that, do you think I would have gone through all that trouble?
Because he must have had a compelling reason why he couldn't call it off. But how did you know to switch to pads in advance of the bombing incident?
Well, that's because... I was warned in advance. Once I received that warning, it was my duty to ensure my astronaut's safety.
But it was just a warning. It could even have been a prank. Why did you believe in it so completely?
Because I went to one of those mediums that everyone was talking about these days.
Oh? I didn't realize channeling was back in vogue. Besides, I thought it was you yourself that got the warning via telephone.
Yes, that's right. The bomber contacted me personally. My battleship is equipped with a special defense communication system, you see.
AKA a regular old telephone.
It's been a while, planning another launch. I see you haven't learned. I'll never forget the terror I felt when I received that call.
The bomber said it's been a while, and that was enough to make you take the threat seriously. Perhaps Director Cosmos took the threat so seriously because the Space Center had been involved in a bombing once before. That's what it's starting to sound like. Maybe. The culprit in the current case is the same who was involved in this incident. Was it the courtroom number 4 bombing? It was a courtroom bombing, wasn't it? That's when you dealt with a major blow.
You really think blowing up a courtroom would have shaken the center of Cosmos?
I guess I got wrong. The director felt personally threatened, so it has to be something more relevant to him. It was the Hat 1 Miracle. Hat 1 Miracle. That epic story of survival. People across the nation know it now as a heroic tale of bravery. But in truth, it was an act of sabotage perpetrated by our current killer, wasn't it? Very few know about the previous plot, so when the caller said it's been a while, you knew beyond a shadow of a doubt that the danger was real, and it wasn't a prank.
Tell you to go easy on the next serviceman. One Miracle was really a definite battle against an outcome of sabotage. Even lost a life of one of my staff members in the fight.
Sabotage. Murder. So this is the ugly truth behind the Hat 1 Miracle.
I let my guard down. I thought the saboteur had been caught, and the case was closed.
Wait a minute. The murder at the Space Center 7 years ago. This must be the person Director Cosmos thought was the culprit. You think it was Blackwell, wasn't it?
Take that!
Simon Blackwell, a murder suspect in a case that happened here 7 years ago. The place and time of the two incidents, the murder and the sabotage, are the same. So you thought that he committed both crimes. But while Prosecutor Blackwell was behind bars, you got another threatening call. If the culprit this time is the same as 7 years ago, then it isn't Simon Blackwell. Realizing that, you were shaken. It meant the true culprit's been running free all this time.
Keep seeing straight through me!
So, that's quite interesting. Start telling the truth, buddy. The reason why Director Cosmos won't talk about why he switched to launch pads is connected to the truth behind the Hat 1 miracle. The sabotage and murder that happened at this space center 7 years ago. Director Cosmos, tell us what you're hiding.
If you really want to understand the reason I decided to switch to launch pads, we'll have to start with the story of that horrible nightmare from 7 years ago.
7 years ago? You mean the so-called Hat 1 miracle?
The launch went smoothly, but once the ship entered outer space, then the troubles began. It was all the handiwork of a certain person and their evil scheme.
So Mr. Starbuck's traumatic experience wasn't accidental. It was intentional.
Not only that, but before the launch, a very valuable piece of moon rock was stolen. That wasn't the worst of it. One of my staff members was murdered.
Murdered?
Wow. I had no idea such awful events were behind that exciting story of a space heroism.
All that, in spite of the space center having very strict security in those days. All personal effects were examined thoroughly, coming or going. Couldn't even smuggle a withered old leaf through those checkpoints.
So, do you have any clue who was responsible for the sabotage?
At the very least, I know it wasn't Simon Blackwell. I don't know enough to identify the true culprit, but it's clear what that person is. To put it simply, a spy.
A spy? You mean like somebody who infiltrates a foreign country? Carries out dangerous missions and always gets the girl?
Someone's watching way too many late-night movies. Well, I guess if we're talking about blowing up a rocket and stealing research material, it's not all that surprising that a spy could be behind it all. Ooh.
Make no mistake, there's cutthroat rivalry between nations in the space R&D race. Some try to outdo others by any means possible, even deliberate obstruction. 7 years ago, we got a call before the launch warning us of sabotage.
The same MO as this time.
Yes, and here I thought the perpetrator had been caught. But looks like I was wrong.
Prosecutor Blackwell seems more like a ninja than a spy, don't you think?
Aren't ninjas and spies basically the same thing?
But there's a good reason we failed to find the real spy. A massive cover-up by the government. Government officials were too embarrassed to admit they had allowed such a thing to happen at the hands of a spy.
Don't tell me they made the police rush the investigation.
They did indeed. And then, to cover up their sabotage, they cleaned up the story.
And that was the Hat 1 miracle, wasn't it? Then 7 years later, the same MO, advanced warning of sabotage. It must have been the director's reason for switching to launch pads. 7 years ago, the spy gave you advance warning of their plans, just like this time. That was what made you decide to switch to launch pads, wasn't it?
That's right. The caller knew the facts of the case 7 years ago, despite the cover-up. They knew about the sabotage, the moon rock, the murder, and they said, "You don't want things to go like they did 7 years ago, do you?" I immediately thought of calling off the launch, but the government wouldn't let me. We don't give in to the likes of terrorists. We must receive for our country's honor. It was quite a moving speech, but actually...
Moving? Really? Maybe if you're easily inspired by political talking points.
But I knew the truth. We had been warned, which meant that the danger was very real. And I knew there was no way to stop the spy. No matter what I did, they would find a way. That's why I switched to launch pads. And staged a moving rescue scene.
I will say this, you are an annoying liar and stuff, Cosmos, but at the very least, you can tell that he does honestly does seem to care about his workers. He's annoying, and he can be annoying and stuff, but again, he did try and do what he could to save his workers. That much I can't deny.
First, I snuck into the center the night before and switched the launch pads. That way, the astronauts would go from boarding lounge 1 to the Space Museum. Then I put a closed for repair sign at the door to launch pad 1 in boarding lounge 2.
You did that so normal visitors wouldn't enter, right? What else did you do?
I enlisted the help of several staff members, including Terry.
But you didn't let Mr. Starbuck in it.
He'd already been through enough, and he's no good at lying to keep a secret. I'm afraid I had no choice but to have him drugged. My plan went well until...
Place murder, huh?
After the culprit made their escape, I switched the launch pads back. I did it in such a way that no one would find out. After all that effort, Terran is dead, and Hat 2 is destroyed. The Hope capsule, which had returned to us only recently, was also lost in that blast. My home, the center of the cosmos. My beautiful Cosmos Space Center is done for!
Wait, what do you mean by that Hope capsule was lost in the blast? What do you mean? Don't we have that? I thought the Hope capsule was found at the crime scene with Mr. Terran. Yeah, wasn't that with us? It just has been brought back by the Hope space probe with asteroid samples inside. So what kind of samples are they? What's in them?
The samples are scheduled for analysis in the near future. We haven't had time since I just came back the day before Terran's murder. The capsule is being held in a safe in Launchpad 1. But I gave it to Terran before the incident, so it won't be destroyed in the explosion. Sorry. This old dog gets tired. Just don't put that away. The idea was that, with it safely in Terran's possession, he could make it look like he'd rescued it during the stage's miraculous escape. But our precious research materials ended up lost to the explosion anyway.
But I thought Clay was supposed to keep it safe.
You misunderstand. The launchpad explosion wasn't the one the capsule was lost to. It was lost after the police confiscated it as evidence.
What?
Oh, the courtroom bomb! It was a courtroom bombing from the other day. The capsule was there and the courtroom is evidence. It was blown to smithereens.
Gotcha. Yeah, no casualty of that blast.
Ultimately, I think the culprit may have known about the switching of the launch pads.
What? How?
Police found a wiretapping device during their investigation today. A bug aboard my battleship. A tap on my advanced communication system.
Wire on that phone?
Yes, a wire on this very phone. Now I use this phone to give instructions to my staff about the launchpad switch. Just to the few select members who knew about the plan. Just before the incident, staff members were coming in and out of Launchpad 1. The culprit probably slipped in with them amid the confusion.
And planted the bomb then. Yeah, if they were tapping your phone, they definitely could pull something like that off. So you really think the same spy is behind this incident in the one 7 years ago?
Yes, I'm sure of it.
Then the spy must be the phantom Prosecutor Blackwell's been chasing. Yeah.
But Prosecutor Blackwell told me once. The hunt I've been on for the Phantom of 7 years past continues even still. For starters, the case happened right here at this very Space Center, too.
Yeah.
So, if we can find this phantom...
That's right. We can clear Athena's name. And then there's the matter of Prosecutor Blackwell, too.
What about him?
Well, if the culprit of 7 years ago is the same person as the current incident, it would mean Prosecutor Blackwell is innocent. That's still an if, though.
I wonder how dangerous that guy would be in court without handcuffs. But if we're going on a ghost hunt, count me in.
It's all over me! Spin world, not for the cosmos is dumb!
You think he's going to be alright, Dad?
Well, at least he'll be in good company. There must be plants out there that he can spin with. Which reminds me, I'd like to delve a little deeper into the Hat 1 mission, too.
If you want to learn more about the Space Museum, here's a Hat 1 exhibit there! don't like me, I'll just keep sweating energy on the colors of odds!
It's like he's achieved spiritual enlightenment or something.
I'm sure it'll stop when he gets dizzy. Let's go visit the Space Museum. Hey, breathing. Cosmos Space Center, Space Museum.
Let's see. Where's the exhibit on the launch 7 years ago?
Here we are. There, that's the Hat One exhibit.
Oh wow, look at that photo of the team.
What I want to know is who's this last person here? There's Clay. There's Clay and Mr. Starbuck, Director Cosmos, Aura Blackwell, and even Ponko. So who's the last lady? But I've never seen the woman on the right before.
Everybody looks so happy. Well, except for Director Cosmos.
Let's check out the newspaper article too. Hat One launch imminent. And there's a photo of the Hope space probe. I guess it's only natural it doesn't talk about the murder of the sabotage.
They really were keeping it a secret, just like the director said. Daddy, take a look at that jacket.
Must be the Hat One team's uniform jacket. It's the same design as the one Apollo was wearing, the one that belonged to Clay.
Actually, actual jacket worn by the Hat One team member, it says.
A replica, huh? I wonder if it was Mr. Starbucks. A newspaper clipping, a photo of the people involved with the launch, and a jacket one of them wore. Hello? Hold on. Who is it? It's... Oh, Jumper! Oh, Miss Woods! What brings you here?
I heard Thena got arrested, so I've been looking for you, Mr. Rat. I thought you might be here, at the scene.
You must be so worried, but rest assured, I'm going to do my very best to defend her.
Thena's going through such a hard time. I hope she doesn't lose heart. Even just coming back to this place must have been really difficult for her.
What do you mean? Huh? You mean the Cosmos Space Center? Does she have bad memories here?
What? You didn't know? She used to live here.
When she was... hang on! What? What do you mean she lived here? She did! No, I didn't know. No wonder she knew so much. Yeah, she actually acted like Ponko's, like, familiar face. Miss Woods, could you tell me more in detail?
Thena's mom worked here.
Oh, don't tell me that fifth person in the newspaper is her mom, then.
If I remember right, she was a doctor of psychology or something like that.
But why was a psychology specialist working at a space research facility?
I don't really know. But I do know that she lived and worked here, so Thena lived here too.
So it was far from Athena's first time here. I wonder why she didn't mention it.
She probably didn't want to talk about it. This place is connected to a very sad memory for her.
Would you explain? A sad memory. Can you tell me about it?
There was a terrible incident here. It was 7 years ago.
Same time frame as the Hat One launch.
Thena's mom, in the robotics lab, she was... murdered. What?
I had a feeling.
After it happened, Thena stopped coming to school.
Poor Thena. And all this time, she never let on at all.
I was so worried about her. I came here so many times hoping to see her. But I never saw her again. After a while, we started exchanging letters. But I didn't get to see her face to face for 7 long years.
And so the first time you'd seen her in 7 years was during Professor Quart's case.
That's right. And I was so surprised. She was like a completely different person. So cheerful and happy.
Trying to keep that smile up for others, huh? What was Athena like as a child?
She was very sensitive and kind. She didn't talk very much. She liked to draw and paint at home. That's completely different from the Athena we know now. I can't even picture it. She never left the Space Center much because she was very sensitive to other people's emotions.
That's right, because her whole hearing.
When she went to crowd places, she'd get dizzy from all the emotions flying around.
Must be hard to hear people's hearts as well as their voices.
She always wore these big, heavy-looking headphones. She said her mother made them for her as part of her research.
Huh. Wonder what kind of research it was.
Because of her special ability, Athena couldn't handle being in school very often. And I was always out sick because of my weak constitution. Maybe that's why we became such good friends. We used to play together here at the Space Center a lot. It brings back memories. Sounds like Athena's mother played a big role here at the Space Center. Oh, Dad, show her that picture.
Atta girl, good idea. Miss Woods, you wouldn't happen to be talking about this, right? Miss Woods, could you take a look at this foot for me?
Oh, look, there's Cena's mom.
Yep, it's her.
The woman on the far right, the one in the kimono. That's Dr. Meta Sykes.
Athena's mother's murder. Did it by any chance have any connection to the Hat One launch?
What? What? Yes, it did. As I recall, it happened on the day before the launch.
Just as I suspected. It's the same person then.
But that wasn't the worst of it. One of my staff members was murdered.
It was Sykes. So this is the murder Director Cosmos was talking about. Does that mean that the crime Prosecutor Blackwell was convicted of is the murder of Athena's mother? You know, I did think it was interesting that when Blackwell was ever first mentioned, I distinctly remember that Athena seemed to know him. I can't remember too much about it, like exactly, but I know for a fact that she knew Blackwell before, like she mentioned to Fulbright before he even said Blackwell's name, that it wouldn't happen to be a Blackwell, would it? So that's why. There's a chance her death is somehow connected to the current case.
There is.
Thank you for all your help, Miss Woods, and please, try not to worry. I won't let anything happen to Athena.
Thank you, Mr. Wright. I know you'll take good care of her. So, we need to investigate the robotics lab, and also talk to Athena. We've got our plates full, Dad. Hope we can fit it all in before day's through.
Detention center first, then. We have to see Athena before visiting hours are over. December 20th, Detention Center... Visitors room. Hi! Well, if it isn't Mr. Lawyer, fancy meeting you here. Oh, hello, Detective Fulbright. Here on business? To tell the truth, I'm here to interview Ted Tonate. The one behind the courtroom bombing incident? He suddenly said he's ready to tell the truth about that case. And what he was saying was so incredible, I just had to come right over here to hear more.
Incredible? What was he saying?
Why don't you hang around and hear it for yourself? Really? Us? Are you sure? I give you my special permission. Here comes the bomber now. Oh god, I don't even remember the name I gave you. Or the voice, sorry.
You, what nerve you have to come here? You're here to laugh at me, I suppose.
I got to waste my breath on you. After all, you're the one who assaulted Apollo and put him in the hospital.
Violence, no question, okay.
No violence? Too bad Apollo didn't get a chance to say that before you attacked him. Fine, then just answer me this, Mr. Tonate. What is this truth of yours about the courtroom you blew up?
No, I didn't do it. I didn't blow up the courtroom. When I killed Detective Arm, there was another person in the room.
Really?
What are you talking about? Who else could there have been? I saw it, I tell you. I saw someone's hand as they were stealing the remote switch. This person was there and witnessed the murder I committed. What?
I don't know who it was, but that's who blew up the courtroom.
You expect us to buy that?
Easy there, Trucy. I don't see any psych locks. So I guess he must not be lying.
Pardon me, I got a little carried away, but I'm telling you the truth. I did not detonate that bomb.
And there you have it. We can't exactly ignore his claims, of course, so we're doing a follow-up. We're even analyzing the bomb itself, or what's left of it. We haven't found any new facts yet, though.
Wait a minute. Wait. I knew it. That is weird. I was gonna say, the first thing that caught my eye in all of this is this fancy-looking little rock here because of how pretty it looked. But I realized I'd seen that before. Sure enough. It's present in here, too. I wonder if that's important. Probably is. So why is that rock there? And why is it so pretty looking? Wow, they've laid it all out piece by piece.
Oh, look at all those beautiful pieces. I wish I could have them.
Uh-oh. Looks like his geek switch has been activated. Phony fancy bomb added to the court record.
Well, I hope you're ready for Prosecutor Blackwell's special brand of questioning.
Anything but that.
I'm afraid I have to be off now, too. I was just about to question Miss Sykes.
You're going to see Athena now?
That's right. Oh, did you folks come to see her? Sorry for the trouble, but could you come back later? Well, off I go. Oh.
What bad timing. Looks like we'll have to wait until after questions, Overseer.
And after we came all this way, too. Well, I guess back to the Space Center. Let's go check out the robotics lab, Dad.
Alright, sounds like a plan. Robotics lab. What in the hell is being built in here? Cosmos Space Center Robotics Lab.
So, this is the robotics lab, huh? Almost like it's exactly one floor above the boarding lounge.
And where people were directed to evacuate from via the emergency ladder. This is where Athena's mother was killed 7 years ago. Speaking of someone who works with robots...
Daddy, look! Over there!
Oh.
Apollo!
So they plan to use this bag to carry the capsule, is that right? Yeah, more or less. Say, why don't we stop talking about the case and have a nice cup of tea instead? Paul and Aura Blackwell. Wonder what they're talking about. Well. Come spoiler fun. Just when I was enjoying our time alone.
Druzy, and Mr. Wright.
If it's a Paul you want, you can't have him. He's investigating on his own.
And I respect his wishes. We just came to investigate this lab.
Well, this is my lab, so you'll need my permission if you want to do any snooping. I heard about the trial. You made mincemeat of the director. And suddenly Starbuck was out and your little subordinate, the princess, was in. Case closed, and they all lived happily ever after. Daddy, say something to her! And I suppose you're going to defend the princess in court, am I right?
The princess, huh? Guess she's talking about Athena. Of course, Athena's innocent.
Oh my, such loyalty and trust. She seems pretty suspicious to me, though. The emotionally unstable princess. There's your culprit for you. Don't you agree, Apollo?
I don't know yet.
Apollo, how could you? What's wrong with saying I don't know if it's true? It's a very scientific approach. Your subordinate is more level-headed than you. Or should I say, former subordinate.
I can't believe it. Does Paul really suspect Athena?
Phew, all this laughing has worn me out. Your turn to say something, Hunka Junk. Mr. Terran, you look pale. Shall I help you to the sick bay?
Mr. Turan? Well, that's Apollo you're talking to.
Oh, this Hunka Junk here is mistaking Apollo for Clay. Maybe Apollo's possessed by Clay's ghost. Mr. Terran, how are your injuries? Mr. Mr. How are you injured, Mr. I guess Clay intends to hang around to hunt the princess that murdered him. Oh, and to haunt the lawyer that defends her too, of course.
A robot that can see ghosts. Yeah, right. And I'm a spirit medium. Sorry, but apparently scientists just don't tell very frightening ghost stories. I intend to defend Athena, no matter what you have to say about it.
How perfectly foolish. That kind of blind belief makes people lose sight of the truth. Just like 7 years ago.
Could you tell me about the incident 7 years ago?
Why? Do you enjoy trampling on people's feelings and rubbing salt in their wounds?
Oh, now it's okay to talk about feelings when they are your feelings, huh?
Or do you just want me to talk? In that case, what should I ask for in return?
I'd like to hear about that incident too. It'd help me understand the current case better. Huh? Paul knows about that case too.
Well, if you're the one asking, Apollo. Come on, Hunka Junk. You tell the story. But Miss Sora, that's private information. If you won't talk, I'll just have to make you talk.
Oh dear.
Yeah. Yes, who cares about personal privacy? Not me. I am ready to utilize my blast processing abilities to impart all available information. Wow, what a magic trick! He's like a completely different robot now. The bodies of all the robots that came through this lab were designed by Miss Aura. I was born 7 years ago. Miss Aura was much, much younger then.
Yikes, better watch what you say if you don't want to get recycled, Clonko.
And then our hearts were created by that great genius, Dr. Metis Sykes.
Hearts? Robots with hearts. Can you even make such a thing?
Emotions are not irrational things. Our logic and our hearts can be integrated. The two navigation companions created by Miss Aura and Dr. Metis transcend humans. Yeah.
Metis. Huh? She glanced over at her desk. I noticed that, yep.
Then we could continue Metis' research. She and her work were truly one of a kind. And now the two navigation companions are all that left of Metis here on Earth.
The robots are all that's left. Is just she leaving out a very important someone?
We built the ultimate creation together, but now she's gone.
I get that feeling Dr. Sykes loved her robots almost as much as she loved her daughter. And almost as much as she loved you.
What are you talking about? Don't make me laugh. But you lost someone too, didn't you, Apollo? Your friend Clay. I guess you and I are pretty much in the same boat. Miss Aura, would you like a tissue? Keep your trap shut, hunk of junk. Clunko's an important keepsake of your time with Dr. Sykes. You should treat him better. What does it matter? He doesn't feel pain, and I can always repair his body. Besides, their hearts aren't actually in their bodies.
What do you mean by that?
The program S wrote runs on a separate mainframe. Their bodies aren't controlled by remotely from there. Their hearts and memories are there too. These bodies are really just peripherals. So, I can do anything I want to them.
I'm not so sure that gives you the right to physically abuse the poor things.
But why are you people looking into such an old case now anyway?
Well, we believe the culprit of that incident might be the same person as in this case.
So now he's going to find out who killed Dr. Sykes too. I'm sure you're aware of who Mess's killer is.
Yes, Prosecutor Blackwell. Or so it seems.
That's a quaint way of putting it. Are you implying you don't think he did it?
I can't say anything for sure right now. But that's exactly why I'd love to hear your side of it. Tell me be sure. I don't think he did it. There's no chance. Sounds like he got set up.
As the one who introduced Simon to Metis, you know. He wanted to learn psychology, he said. To give himself an edge in court.
Ah, Prosecutor Blackwell's forte. His infamous power suggestion technique.
Exactly. And he was always serious about it, rather than a teacher-student relationship. You treat her more like how a loyal samurai would treat his sovereign.
Huh. Seems more like a lost soul than a dignified samurai to me.
He even got along well with that miserable little princess. Why you call Athena the princess anyway? Well, she is Master's daughter after all. Although she's nothing like her. Besides, doesn't the selfish little princess always have lots of white knights hanging around?
I think I see why Athena didn't say anything when we ran into Aura yesterday. It all makes sense now. Ow.
So the culprit behind the two cases could be the same, huh? That settles it then.
What does it settle?
None of your business. Just forget you heard anything. How long are you people going to hang around in here anyway? What? But we came here to take a look around. You think you can just waltz in and ransack a person's lab? Show me a search warrant.
We're not the police, so we don't have one.
Then get out. Now! Clonko, show them out. Certainly, Miss Aura. Ouch! Don't push! My apologies, I'm just following orders. Ugh! Ah! Damn it!
Cosmos Space Center entrance. What a way to get shown out.
Nerve that woman! What's with that horrible attitude?
I guess that's just how she is.
And why was Apollo going along with her?
I guess it's because they have something in common. Paul lost Clay, just like how Aura lost Dr. Sykes.
I'm really worried about him. He's not himself at all. He's usually not all cool and dark and mysterious like that.
I guess that's true. Does she mean he's usually silly and dorky?
I'm gonna keep an eye on him.
Hey, wait, Drucy, come back! She's gone. What should I do now? Detective Fulbright is probably still questioning Athena. Guess I'll go back to the office. Alone. Back to the office. There's no one here! Well, here I am. This office has never felt so empty. I guess I haven't been here at the office all by myself in a long time. When I first became a lawyer, my mentor was here with me. And then, for a while after that, she was always by my side. Now I'm getting all sentimental. You must be tired. Huh? There's something on the floor. What's a letter doing here? Hey, Nick. It's been a while, huh? Miss me? I know this handwriting! Is this Maya? I read somewhere that you were holding a trial in the middle of an exploding courtroom. It must have been really something, although fear is part of the course with you. I think she, or whatever paper she's reading, is a little off on the details. I'd love to come visit, but I'm right in the middle of a difficult part of my training. So instead, think of me as you watch those Steel Samurai videos I sent. I'm sure they'll cheer you right up. Yours truly, Maya Fey. Good old Maya. As if she knew I was feeling down and needed a lift. Maya was my assistant for quite a while. Believe it or not, she's a spirit medium. This Mugatama I use on Cyclux, Maya's the one who gave it to me. But I wonder how this letter got here. Wait.
Mr. Nick?
Is it... Ah! Pearls! Oh, it's you, Pearls. Pearls!
How have you been, Mr. Nick?
This is Pearl Fey, though I call her Pearls. She's Maya's cousin, who is also a spirit medium. A very talented one at that. I've known her since she was 8 years old. But Apollo and Athena only met her a few months ago. You didn't come all this way just to bring me a letter, did you?
I apologize for barging in. The door was unlocked. But I can't believe there was a big explosion here. Your office doesn't look any different.
She's even further off on the details than Maya. I wish I could take you out to eat or some, Pearls, but there's a lot going on.
Oh, I knew that. I didn't come here for a social visit, you know, Mr. Nick.
What's up?
Did you read the postscript on the letter?
There's more?
Oh, yeah, here it is. P.S. I bet you've been too busy to clean or take care of the office, so Pearlie said she would come help you. Isn't she sweet? You better thank her. Oh, so that's what you're doing here. That's awfully nice of you, Pearls. I am Pearls. Thanks to these two. I'm starting to feel a little better. Thank you, girls.
Now I'm here, I'm gonna whip this place into shape. You just concentrate on your work and don't mind me at all.
I'll need to talk to Prosecutor Blackwell if I want to learn more about his case. But the trial's still going on, and they must be holding him down at the detention center. Detention center? Hello? Well, look who's here. Wonder what they're talking about. All of a sudden you haven't said a word. It's even turned your hair gray. Oh, hey! I don't have anything to say, Aura. Why don't you go home and play with your dolls? Prosecutor Blackwell.
Well, even if you don't, I have plenty, you jerk.
Miss Blackwell, don't you think that's enough for today?
Enough for today. Today's all there is when there's no tomorrow.
And there's no tomorrow? What's she talking about? We have company, Aura. Please try to calm down.
Alright, fine. I see you're just not going to listen no matter what I say. I've had it. If that's the way you're going to be, I have another plan up my sleeve. I hope you're happy, Simon, because I'm done. Do as you please. See if I care.
Damn. Wow. I could cut the tension with a katana. Hi there, Blackwell. Right, Dono. It looks like Fulbright saved your case in the court this morning. What? Oh, yeah, he did. He bounced back to business quick. Prosecutor Blackwell, forgive me, but it was the just thing to do. But, as a result, Sykes Dono was arrested. Was that the just thing to do, too? Mr. Lawyer, I'm sorry, but it was evidence. What else could I do? Don't worry about it. I plan to defend her and prove her innocence. I wouldn't take things so lightly if I were you. Right, Dono. This is blade-proof class, right? I hate you. Prosecutor Blackwell, we're looking into the case from 7 years ago. You're looking for somebody you call the Phantom of 7 Years Past, aren't you? You villain! Where'd you learn about that? This glass is absolutely, positively blade-proof, right? No, it wasn't me! I didn't say a thing. Oh, oops. Ouch. At least it wasn't my fault. I'll kill you later. Could you tell me who this Phantom is? And also, you didn't really kill Dr. Sykes, did you? God, the guest is leaving. Prosecutor Blackwell, please listen to me. The culprit in the current case might be the same one as in the case 7 years ago. If you would cooperate, we could probably solve both cases. I suppose I could talk. The one who killed my mentor was, without question, me. I stole Sykes Dono's mother away from her. I destroyed her life. Prosecutor Blackwell. God, where are you? Stop dragging your feet, I tell you. There he goes. No! We've upset Prosecutor Blackwell! Now what are we going to do, Mr. Lawyer? There isn't much we can do. Detective Fulbright, do you mind if I ask you just a little more about that old case? Well, I guess it won't make any difference now. What would you like to know? Tell me about it. Anything. Do you know anything about the trial that got him convicted? A little. The police called the incident the UR1 incident. Prosecutor Blackwell was charged with murdering his psychology mentor. Kind of like if your red Mr. Lawyer were to kill you. I don't want to think about that one. There were two decisive pieces of evidence, so a verdict was reached very quickly. 2 pieces of evidence, huh? What were they? Let's see. The first was some security camera footage. He was the only one who used the corridor to the murder scene at the time of the crime. The only one, huh? Ouch. That does sound pretty decisive. Could you show me that footage?
Oh, sorry. I don't have it with me right now. I guess I'll have to see it some other time. Video showing the corridor to the crime scene. Blackwell was the only one to pass through at the time of the crime. And what was the second piece of evidence? This one's even more incriminating. A photo of the moment of the crime. Oh. See? There he is at the crime scene, holding a bloody katana. Here is the victim's kept on display in the room. She had a thing for Japanese culture. Wow. It'd be hard to explain this one way. That being said, there's some interesting things. There is something of interesting here, which is what's up with that robot arm there. At least it looks like a robot arm on the table. The weapon used in the murder 7 years ago. It belonged to the victim. The victim's blood was found only on the blade. But who took this picture, Detective? The incident happened the day before the Hat 1 launch. A reporter who had come to do a story on the launch was in the room across from the lab. This just happened to show up in one of the pictures he took. Taken inadvertently, it became conclusive evidence at Simon Blackwell's trial 7 years ago. Prosecutor Blackwell's attitude earlier was so odd. He's definitely hiding something. Prosecutor Blackwell said he was hunting a phantom for 7 years ago, didn't he? Yes, and I imagine it's getting more and more urgent as his execution date approaches.
Oh! Excuse you? What'd you just say? Execution date?
Oh, did I say something? Never mind me. You didn't hear a thing.
I didn't know you were supposed to be executed. So he was given the death sentence?
Yes. He told me not to tell you people, actually. But I guess there's no sense hiding it anymore. His execution date is tomorrow.
What? Tomorrow? No!
Miss Blackwell, don't you think that's enough for today?
Enough for today? Today's all there is when there's no tomorrow. I see now.
But what if the culprit of the current case is the same as the one from 7 years ago?
Then it would be the worst possible scenario. Prosecutor Blackwell would be executed tomorrow under a false charge.
That would be unthinkable. We have to do something right now.
I want to do something. I want to, but you're a lawyer. You know how hard it is to overturn a decision.
I know, but why? Why isn't Prosecutor Blackwell putting up any kind of fight?
You saw how he was, right? He's been like that ever since his conviction. Totally uncooperative. Not even his own sister could persuade him.
Cooperative. When he's about to be executed for a crime he didn't commit. This isn't right. I can't let it happen. I have to stop it somehow.
Oh, pardon me. Looks like I have a phone call. All right here. What? What's happening?
You've got to be kidding!
That's quite a reaction. I bet he's making some big show of it right now.
Mr. Lawyer, the robots! The robots are...
Detective Fulbright, get a hold of yourself. Some kind of robot malfunction?
Not a malfunction! They're staging a revolt! The machines are rebelling against humans!
They've hauled themselves into Space Center and taken the visitors as hostages!
Is it White? No! Lucy!
We have to get over there right now! This is gonna be one heck of a battle!
What is happening?
Cosmos Space Center. Entrance.
The Wright police are here. And the robots really are holding people hostage.
Look, Mr. Lawyer, what do you suppose that group of people are swarmed around?
But I was only trying to help this nice person. She said she was lost.
You robots have declared war on us humans! You've been taken hostages already!
Stay away from it! Hero! No, it'll do!
He's not a bad robot. Can't you see he's just trying to help me?
Recognize that voice. Detective Fulbright, are you okay here on your own? Here's me. All right, people. What's going on here? Girls, over here.
Oh, Mr. Nick! There you are! I heard the terrible news, and I got so worried.
Thanks, Pearls. I can hardly believe what's happening myself.
I'm so glad you found each other. When people are happy, I'm happy.
Clinko seems to be the same as before.
When people are sad, I'm happy. When people are angry, when people are Beep, beep, beep. That says something old.
Uh-oh. There is something wrong with him. Oh, he's off.
Looks like he fell asleep. He must have been tired.
Klonka? What the? Huh?
Ha ha ha. Human beings are enemy. It's time for the machines to take over.
Ugh! The robots are rebelling! Run! It's an all-out war!
How could you fall for something so cliche? I'm human too, you idiots. I'm just controlling these robots remotely.
What?
But it is true that I've taken hostages, so you better not make me mad. Hey, you, hostage number 1, come here. I'll let you talk to them.
Huh? There's something being displayed on Klonka's face screen. What's going on? It's the Space Museum.
Hey, is that you?
Trucy! Trucy, is that you? No! Trucy, are you alright?
About 15 robots are holding 12 of us hostage, Dad. They've gone haywire. A researcher's the one behind it. She's...
This girl talks too much. Trucy! Trucy, talk to me!
Why are you doing this? I'm glad you asked. My demand is simple. I hope that detective is listening.
Bobby Fulbright here! I'm all ears!
I want you to bring someone to me. Clay Terran's murderer, Athena Sykes.
Athena? Now, hold on just one moment. I can't give in to a demand like that.
So you don't care what happens to these hostages, huh? I'll just pick one out then.
No! Wait! That's the lawyer! No, I have absolutely no right to make such a ridiculous request, but you need me to buy some time, right? Got it. I'll see what I can do. Promise me. Promise me you'll never hand Athena over, and you won't give up on the hostages either. Of course I won't! I better go contact headquarters!
Mr. Nick, how do you plan to buy time?
I have no idea yet. This hostage taker. Could be... It's Aura, isn't it?
If you don't bring me that little princess, I'll have Hunk of Junk kill all the hostages.
Princess. Hunk of junk. There's only one person this could be. In which case, there must be something I can use as a bargaining chip. I don't have anything to say, Aura. Why don't you go home and play with your dolls? It's your Blackwell!
Well, even if you don't, I have plenty, you jerk.
Miss Hostage Taker, Athena's not a murderer.
What are you saying? What are you talking about? She's been arrested and they got her in detention.
I'm telling you the truth. Look, the person you want is the real killer, right? Well, it's not Athena. It's someone else.
Alright, let's hear your stupid little theory. Who is this real killer?
I don't know yet. The culprit is the same as the one in the case from 7 years ago. The UR1 incident. I believe you have a personal interest in that case.
It's too late to change what's going to happen now, no matter how wrong it is.
But is it really too late? You can still do something about it. You might even be able to fix it.
Just... what exactly are you proposing?
What can I do about the 7-year-old case assessed by the hostage taker? Can I retry it in court? Let me retry it. I propose we retry the case from 7 years ago. If you make that demand now, I'm sure nobody will deny you. It wouldn't be an official trial, but at least we could find out the truth.
That's good. Real good. Hey, detective, I'll give you 1 hour. Get a courtroom ready.
Huh? 1 hour? But that's impossible! Please, give me at least until tomorrow!
If you don't mind losing hostages, you can take all the time you want. Oh, but wait. If we're going to have a retrial, we'll need a prosecutor. Don't worry, I'll take care of that.
She will?
And I guess I can be fair and let you come in and check out the crime scene. But Hunk of Junk here will be watching you, so don't try anything funny. You got that? Now follow Hunk of Junk. Riot police, make way. We're coming through. Mr. Nick, wait. I'll help you with the investigation.
Thanks, Pearls. I appreciate that. Okay, we're going in. Alright, here we go.
Aura, what the hell is going on? And why are you... You're threatening thine daughter! Aura dropped us off with a warning not to touch anything until she got back.
I wonder what's taking so long. But we can't really start the investigation yet, can we?
Even if we could, this mess makes it hard to tell what the room was like 7 years ago.
Mr. Wright,
It's the hostage taker!
I'm back to my usual self now. You are still being monitored, however. But more importantly, an important guest has arrived.
A guest? Who? Oh my goodness, it's you! It's you! He has returned. The original.
I trust you've been well, Wright.
Hello, Edgeworth. It's been a while. Look at you! Edgeworth! What are you doing here? This is Miles Edgeworth. We've been friends since we were kids. We faced off in court a number of times back when he was a prosecutor. But now...
Hello, Prosecutor Edgeworth. Oh, but you're not a prosecutor anymore, are you?
He's chief prosecutor now. Pretty soon it'll be a year, right? A title is nothing more than a title. Don't we have more pressing issues to discuss? You're alive! It must be nice to finally have your attorney's badge back. Yeah, it's been 8 years. I'm sorry for all I put you through. No, I'm sorry I wasn't able to help you. I was the one that made the decision. Now you can stand in court once again. And you can mow them down just like you used to. Way to pressure on a guy. Since when did I get such a brutal reputation? Another young life lost to the hands of a cruel killer. Edgeworth, you don't think Athena's the culprit, do you? That's up to the evidence and the truth they reveal, right? And what about the hostage situation? The law will deal with that with the hostage taker. Remember, we must never stoop to threats or acts of violence ourselves, even if people's lives are on the line. Edgeworth. He may be a stickler for the rule of law, but I have no better ally in this world than him. My man, right? Please stop presenting random evidence just to see how that person will react. Never! Absolutely not! You will not stop me, Edgy.
But that's the thing! I need to see how people react in order to question them.
And what if it's evidence that that person isn't privy to? That doesn't happen. Much. You never change. And I'm afraid I'll never understand your assortment of oddball clients either. I don't know if you want to. I love that of all characters to acknowledge that Phoenix keeps throwing things in people's faces, it's of course going to be Edgeworth. Like, please, you've done this for how many games now? Stop. Hope capsule samples brought back from some distant asteroid. Risking his own safety, the victim brought them with him from the launch pad. It must have been very valuable. Yes, all nations are itching to get their hands on such materials. Right, this case may turn out to be more than just a murder case, you know. That's fine. Come what may, my top priority is to defend my clients. Bring. It sounds like we're not gonna have a... It sounds like we're not gonna have a fourth... I was wondering how this case is gonna go, but it sounds like... I'm wondering how this is gonna end up happening at this point. But I get the feeling it's probably gonna be like I might be able to end the game today, technically. Depending. We'll see. Right? What did I just say? Like 3 freaking times. 5. Whatever. Stop it. For God's sakes. How many times have we gone through this? How many days have I spent being forced to witness evidence shoved into my face?
Stop! Please!
Hey, Miles. So, what are you doing here, Edgeworth? The cops have chose me as the prosecutor for the UR1 case. Wow, she's good. She went all the way up to the top. I gathered all the information I could in the short time that I had. I'll give you a rundown.
You're always so well prepared, Prosecutor Edgeworth.
Thanks, I appreciate this. I could really use the help. I'll start with a brief overview. The victim was the psychologist Dr. Metis Sykes. Yeah, Athena's mother. 7 years ago, on the 7th of October, her body was found here in this very courtroom. In this very room, sorry. I have 2 crime photos and the police notes on them for you to see. Well, there's the body.
What a terrible way to die.
Yeah. Well, there's a sword, there's a napkin on the floor or something. There's also a jacket, which is interesting to me. What? Well, the sword's gone. You know, there's another thing that's missing from here. A very interesting thing of note is missing from here. That rock's gone. Why is that rock gone? This airfo shows the other side of the room, I see. But why is the rock gone? I also have the autopsy report for you. Ah, thank you. The cause of death was a stab wound to the chest. The weapon pierced the heart, and so death was instantaneous. The murder weapon was the victim's own katana found at the scene. Yeah, Detective Fulbright mentioned she was into Japanese culture. The body was found by a Space Center staff member and 2 police officers. The police were called in because of the sabotage threat on the Hat 1 launch. Yes, Director Cosmos mentioned this too. A few hours later, the body was discovered. A suspect was arrested. The suspect was Simon Blackwell, a young prosecutor. Did he work for you, Edgy? I hear his trial was over in a flash. Yes, a guilty verdict was declared in only 1 session. Not only did he plead guilty, but there was decisive evidence against him too. The security camera video. And a photo of the moment of the crime, as I recall.
But did Prosecutor Blackwell have a motive?
To this day, his motive is still unknown. He insisted he did it, but he would never say why. So that means he must still be hiding something. Right. And there's another aspect of the case that was never revealed to the public. Yeah, I know. The part about the spy, right? Right. How on earth did you know about that? Director Cosmos told me after a bit of pressure. He told me espionage and sabotage were behind the Hat 1 miracle.
Don't worry. I won't tell anyone. I've always been good at keeping secret.
Well, I'm not worried about you, child. Well, I might as well tell you now. They really do suspect Blackwell of being a spy. They think he sabotaged the rocket and killed Dr. Sykes to steal the moon rock. But if you can prove that the Hat 2 bombing was the work of the same spy, we can stay the execution? It's a possibility. That's why I intend to help you in any way I can. Thanks, Edgeworth. And all I have to do is comb this room for evidence.
Let's do it together.
Edgy, my man. Edgeworth, what do you think of giant robots? This is one heck of a robot.
There's something written on it. Is this supposed to be a poem? I cut down anyone who displeases me. I make the rules. I am the law. I wield the ultimate gavel of judgment. I am Judge Tron. JT02.
I don't believe we need to bother with that, Poe. It's not even complete yet. He's right, Pearls. There's no sign of it in the photo from 7 years ago either. Oh yeah. They were building the Hope space probe here at the same time. At the time, the murder occurred after the space probe had been removed from the room, so it was long gone by the time someone took this picture, huh?
But you can see this probe in the newspaper photo.
Yes, and you can see the stolen moon rock there too. Yep, I noticed it. So that's what that is. It's moon. Then wait a minute. Why is it that the friggin'... Do we have the thing that Fulbright showed us? Yeah, this. Why is it in the bomb? Why was the moon rock with the bomb? Or I guess they're the capsule. Whatever. The point is... A strange black and yellow thing on the left side of the picture? Note that the same rock is absent from the crime scene photo.
Not only that, but before the launch, a very valuable piece of moon rock was stolen.
I hear there's lots of research into moon rocks and stardust from asteroids these days. They say the result could potentially have a huge impact on all of civilization. It's like we're in a new space race with every other country out there.
So the person who stole it, think it was our spy? I'm sure of it. Dr. Sykes was probably killed because she was a roadblock in their plan. Unfortunately, the government thinks Prosecutor Blackwell is the culprit. How unfortunate. It's about as cluttered as my office, but I think it's a workbench.
Mr. Nick, I think this must be a kitchen. Look at this photo. See a cute little food processor?
That isn't a food processor, Pearls. That's the Hope capsule. It was scheduled to be loaded onto the Hope space probe that fateful day. The 3 people who came to collect the capsule discovered the body. The first on the scene, huh? A staff member and 2 police officers, was it? And they were here to collect the capsule. Which reminds me... So, they plan to use this bag to carry this capsule, is that right?
Yeah, more or less. Say, why don't we stop talking about the case and have a nice cup of tea instead?
Paul and Nora Blackwell. I wonder what they're talking about. Edgeworth, did those 3 people have a bag with them for transporting the capsule? Oh, you mean this? It's a custom-made shock-resistant bag. But how'd you know? Oh, I just overheard Apollo making an inquiry about it, that's all. So he's looking into the case from 7 years ago on his own, is he? Interesting. What is this big thing back here? What's this? Looks like a giant power plug. Oh, is it for the robots? It's attached to what looks like an electric vehicle charging station. He seems happy about it.
That's a charging station for us robots. We come here periodically and charge ourselves up.
Wow. Machines that maintain themselves. That's pretty cool.
If our batteries run out and we lose consciousness, we never know what Miss Sora will do to us while we're down, you see.
Nothing motivates quite like fear, huh? Why do you have a ball and chain? Do I want to know why you have a ball and chain, actually? I don't want to know why you have a ball and chain. What's this? A giant robot arm, maybe? Actually, I can see that, yeah.
It's very big for an arm, but you're right. I think its thin parts are the finger bones. They're even about as long as my legs.
And there's a spiked ball and a giant drill on the floor, too. Is Zora trying to build some kind of weapon of massive destruction?
Maybe she wants to use it to demolish a big building or something.
I can picture her gleefully tearing down the street doing just that. I better not think about it anymore. Anything left on this side? Wait, hold on. Hey, look at this row of rolling cases. I bet these wheels make it easier for people to move heavy research materials around.
I bet they could be fun to ride around in. We can even probably both fit into the biggest one. I know, we got Prosecutor Edgeworth push us.
I don't trust him not to push us down a flight of stairs. Oh, come on, just once. Please? I barely get enough fun as it is, right? Emergency ladder. This must be the one that was used during the evacuation.
The explosion disabled the elevators. So I lowered my emergency ladder down, like the detective leading the evacuation told me to.
As Miss Blackwell was climbing down the side of the building, she saw the culprit inside. I wonder which would have been scarier, that or looking down. It was lowered to the ground from the window of the 4th floor robotics lab. It was used to evacuate Space Center personnel. What is these? Oh look, it's a little robot. I wonder what it does. Cleaning maybe?
A cleaning robot must follow a human's orders as long as it causes no human harm.
Yikes! Talks!
Cleaning robot must keep desk clean without violating the preceding clause. However, Miss Aura says she prefers a moderate level of clutter on her desk. Oh, what is the purpose of my existence?
I guess slack off and cut some corners aren't in his vocabulary bank. Poor Robo. What is this big machine? It looks like an operating table. It's in the photo, too. Yes, it was here as well, with the victim's body lying on it.
There's a button here. Oh, I know. I'll try pushing it.
Pearls, don't touch it!
Oops.
What the hell?
Hey, it's moving! It appears to be a robot assembly device.
Disassemble anything in a flash. Push the mail button. Sounds pretty neat. Can I push it, Mr. Nick?
Please don't push any more buttons, Pearls. Well, we got a robot now. New robot created! Yippee! He's free! And now it's just activated forever. Nice. Ours desk is a mess, though that doesn't surprise me.
Oh, I just want to dive in and straighten it up.
Wait, before you do.
Mattis.
Huh? She just glanced over at her desk. It's Mattis Sykes. Clunko, can I talk to you? I really hope he's back to normal.
You wish to speak to me, Mr. Wright? If you're going to hit me, please avoid the face area.
Hey, don't put me in the same class as that woman. What was Aura like 7 years ago at the time of the incident?
When Mother died, Miss Aura was confused.
Huh. So it calls Dr. Sykes Mother, but or Blackwell Miss Aura.
But the loss, she exhibited a severe,
I don't even know what that word is.
imbalance. Excuse me, but I have no idea what that means. Pardon me, searching for alternative expression. She would spend the nights crying and then take out her feelings on those around her.
After Prosecutor Blackwell was found guilty, she repeatedly demanded a retrial as well.
That is correct, but without new evidence, her requests were ignored. And then, little by little, Miss Aura began to change. She started to hate it when I called her Mama Aura.
And before long, she started hating the court system and abusing Klonko, huh?
That murder destroyed so many lives.
Yeah. Right. Take a look at this paper on Dr. Sykes and Mr. Blackwell's research. Punko and Klonko, they're the robots with hearts that Dr. Sykes created. A heartbeat detection system lets them determine when a human is present. Can determine the presence of a human with their heartbeat detection system, recognizes people by scanning their spacesuit or uniform jacket ID tag, can also recognize a person by facial features once the person has been registered, and can infer people's emotions by analyzing their tone of voice and communicate with them. In addition, they can recognize people by their ID tag or facial features, and they can infer people's emotions by analyzing their tone of voice. That's amazing! Hey, I don't know, Edgeworth. They might be even more human than you. What's that supposed to mean? It kind of sounds like these robots can do what Athena does. Right! You asshole! Well, I guess that's about it for this room. So what do you think, Wright? Any ideas? There's still a lot of gaps in the evidence, but I'll pull it off somehow. After all, you asked me to prove Blackwell's innocence, right, Edgeworth?
What? He did?
Yep. He called it a special request. He reached out to me while I was still disbarred. Oh!
So that was what sparked you to get your attorney's badge back?
Yep, the Blackwell case. Right, I have a special request. I want you to clear one of my subordinates of suspicion. Hey, I'm not even a lawyer anymore, remember? Haven't been one for a long time. That 8-year misunderstanding has been cleared up, and you must be eager to return. I am sure you're familiar with the other case that ushered in the dark age of the law. Very soon, a convict will stand as a prosecutor in court. I want you to keep an eye on him. Oh, just when I'm beginning to actually like the job I have now. Right. I'm sorry I dragged you into this. Because of the espionage aspect, I wasn't free to give you all the details. Hey, no need to apologize. It's like I said on the phone the other day.
I know the type of criminals you're after now aren't small fries anymore. Looks like your target finally decided to make a move. Yeah, it's for this very reason I returned. Time to bring it to an end. I'm going to end the Dark Age of the Law. That's what this is all about. The Dark Age of the Law.
The Dark Age of the Law? Sure comes up a lot these days on TV and in the papers. And I hear there are more false charges and fabrication of evidence than ever.
When I became chief prosecutor, the court system had already lost the people's trust. It all began 8 years ago. A lawyer was caught fabricating evidence, and a year after that, a prosecutor was found guilty of murder.
Wait, do you mean...
That's right. He's talking about my case and Prosecutor Blackwell's. It was a downward spiral after that. An absolute nightmare. After those 2 cases, the mass media launched an all-out attack on the courts. Public opinion was tainted, and before long, the legal world itself was suckered into it. It's such a shame. Once suspicion forms, it's very hard to shake. Lawyers and prosecutors were supposed to trust each other, pursue the truth together.
It's so sad when people begin to cast doubt. They start lying to themselves and each other.
Yes, and do absolutely anything to win. We're in an age now where winning is valued far more than the truth. I'm sure it's caused our new chief prosecutor to lose many a night's rest. Is it just me, or does his brow get even more furrowed than the last time I saw him? The hostage taker's disdain for our courts is the perfect example of the times. It sure is. Do you have any idea who the hostage taker might be? Well, somebody who mistrusts the court system and who can manipulate robots. It can really only be Aura Blackwell. Who else but her would want a retrial of that case from 7 years ago so badly? Simon Blackwell's older sister and the owner of this room. I agree with your conclusion. Perhaps she intended to force Miss Sykes to confess. Actually, I think she had a much more horrific plan in mind for Athena. The important thing is for you to solve UR1 and prove Blackwell's innocence.
And then maybe she'll release the hostages.
I'm counting on you, Wright, to set that prosecutor and those hostages free. And I'll be counting on you in court to help me too. Of course, I'll do everything I can to help uncover the truth. As this isn't an official trial, I'm more at liberty to be a little unorthodox.
Mr. Wright, are you finished with your investigation?
Yeah, but I'd like you to tell the hostage taker something for me. I have to go to the detention center. I can't start the trial until I've talked to Athena.
She's already given her consent. I'll accompany you to the detention center.
So I'm still being watched, huh? I'll see you in court, Edgeworth. Even if it will be an undocumented trial, it will be good to face you in court again. Oh, it's always a pleasure! Edgeworth! December 20th. Detention center. Visitors room. Athena? She was right by my side only a few short hours ago. I feel like I haven't seen her in ages.
Oh, Mr. Wright.
Hey.
And Pearly, too. I knew you would come. After all, the first step is the interview with the defendant.
Because you're my friend and I was worried about you.
Thanks, boss.
I'm not the only one who's worried either.
Really? Who else?
I saw Miss Woods today. She was so beside herself she came to find me. She told me you used to live in the Cosmos Space Center. No wonder you knew so much about the place.
Oh, so you know, huh? I'm sorry I didn't tell you.
That's alright. But there are some other things I'd like to ask you.
Sure. You can ask me anything. I promise I won't keep any more secrets from you.
Alright, Athena. Tell me about the day Clay was murdered.
I was actually at the Space Center that day. In the Space Museum.
Right where the culprit fled to. It's not good.
I never could fully deal with what happened 7 years ago. But when I saw the center again during the news coverage of the Hat 2 launch, I thought maybe if I went there, things would be different this time. That must have taken a lot of courage to face your past like that.
Take a drink of water.
So I went to see the Space Museum the evening before the explosions. This was before the launch pad had been switched. There was a sign that said closed for repairs, and they weren't letting anybody in.
Yeah, the director couldn't very well switch the pads if there are people in there.
But I snuck in anyway.
Did you want to see that Hat 1 group photo? The one with your mother in it?
I did. But what I really wanted to see was her jacket.
The jacket on display. That was Dr. Sykes. Really? Interesting. And a jacket worn by Dr. Sykes.
But I should have known it wouldn't be easy to get over such a traumatic experience. The second I saw that jacket, it all came rushing back to me. Everything around me went hazy and I couldn't see. I tried to get out of there somehow. But I guess I passed out.
Athena.
When I came to, I was in the passage behind the rocket. I was in the shadows where people couldn't really see me.
Maybe you got confused and went the wrong way when you were trying to leave?
How long do you think you were unconscious, Athena? I was out until about noon of the next day. I didn't even know about the explosions. When I woke up, nobody was around, so I just went out into boarding lounge too. My mind must have still been fuzzy because my memory is vague after that. I don't remember how I got home.
No memory, huh? This is gonna be tough.
Which means... what if I'm the one who killed Clay?
I think that's enough of that, Athena. Let's talk about something else. So, during the entire incident, she was unconscious in the Space Museum. Of course, I believe her. But will anybody else? What kind of research was Dr. Sykes, your mother, doing?
Machines that could tell people's emotions by their tone of voice. And my special ability. Someday, when people travel to distant planets, their companions will be robots. So she said that they had to be able to understand how their human companions felt. Wow, robots that can understand people! I was just a convenient subject for her research. All she ever did was work, and she never paid any attention to me. Oh, sorry about that, dredging up all the old stuff.
No need to apologize. I guess her home life was complicated. Oh, by the way, Miss Woods said something about you always wearing headphones?
She always wore these big, heavy-looking headphones. She said her mother made them for her as part of her research. I had to wear them every time I went out. Oh, I hate them so much. But she wouldn't listen. What were they for? Oh, she gave me some kind of explanation. But I don't remember now. It was too difficult for a little kid to understand.
Okay. But let me say this one thing. I don't think your mother only thought of you as some handy subject for her research.
I want to believe that. But just about the only things my mother left me with are Widget. And this earring.
Earring, huh? I have noticed that she always fiddles around with her earring whenever she's confused, like whenever she's wondering.
Ooh, it's beautiful. It's made of a piece of real moon rock she had for research.
Oh, hey. Is it made from the same moon rock? Actually, that genuinely might be that genuinely might be the case. It is yellow, so, and if I'm looking at the photo, yeah, it is yellow. It's black and yellow. You could probably make a gold-looking earring out of that. I can believe it.
maybe she did love me. In her own way.
I'm sure of it. I'm really sure she did. Because that's what I want to believe too. An earring that Dr. Sykes gave to Athena. The stone was cut from a real moon rock that was being used for research. I'd better ask her a little more about her mother's research. I should show her that paper I found in the robotics lab. Athena. Is it this one?
Oh, the Ponko series. You must have gone to the robotics lab.
You seem to really love Ponko and Klonko.
Yeah, my mother made them and I grew up around them, you know.
They're like your siblings in a way.
Oh, there's one of those cute little robots in this boat, too. See Ponko's bandages? I put those on her. I just wound them around and around. Pretty bad job, huh? But I really put my all into it.
You know, those are the same bandages that are on the table here. So that's Ponko's arm. So why is Ponko's arm here?
I hardly left the center in those days, so I didn't have any human friends besides Junie. I didn't really understand the difference between robots and people back then. I thought that if a robot broke, bandaging it would help it get better. What a weirdo I was.
Looks like there's something written on the bandages.
Yeah, I wrote stuff like, "Get well soon, Ponko."
Ponko?
But in the end, my mom just put her on the operating table and fixed her in a flash. Oh, that must be the thing I made move in the robotics lab. I was so impressed by what my mom did. I even asked her if she would put me on the table and fix me if I ever got hurt. It looked just like magic to me, what she could do.
Little girl grew up around robots. Seems to have some good memories of it. On different subjects, did you hear about the person holding up the Space Center?
Yes, a little. And this person has even taken hostages?
I guess I'd better spare her the news about Trucy. Well, after some negotiating, we agreed to do a retrial of the case from 7 years ago.
What? You're kidding me. So that means Prosecutor Blackwell might...
Yep. I know he's innocent. I just have to prove it. So wait, did you know him back then too?
Yes. He used to come visit my mom a lot.
Remind me, what is the age of both? So you're 18, Blackwell is... No, that's up. That's up.
He studied psychology under her and would sometimes ask for advice on his legal cases. He was very kind and considerate, and straight as an arrow.
Unlike now, where he's more twisted than a basket of snakes.
That's why I took the witness stand during his trial 7 years ago.
Wait, didn't they say he was a decisive witness? Oh no. I see why this picture exists, then. He didn't kill her. His heart was screaming that he didn't kill her.
I was a fool. How can anybody else know what I was talking about?
She heard the voice of his heart?
You were the only 11 then, right? You were very brave just to give testimony.
Pearls is right. You did the very best you could at the time.
But nothing I said did any good. I was a shaking and scared little girl. Small and ineffectual. Even after I went to live with my relatives in Europe. I stayed closed up in my shell. But you're different now. You're always so bright and cheerful. Thanks. That's because one day, I came to realize that I had to fight. I couldn't give up. I exercised hard and I studied hard. I wanted to become the strongest lawyer I could.
Why you became a lawyer?
I wanted to save Simon, but I had no idea how. Then I met Mr. Wright, and thanks to him, I realized that if I became a lawyer, I could prove that Simon was innocent. I also realized that psychology could help me do this. I mean, psychology was my mother's specialty. When I studied it, I felt like she was there with me, supporting me.
Doesn't seem like Athena knows. The prosecutor Blackwell is due to be executed tomorrow.
I wanted to prove Simon's innocence personally. I wanted to do it so bad. Even now, I want to fly out here and go save him.
Come to think of it, she said something like that during the Themis Legal Academy trial. She mentioned there was somebody she wanted to save. It was Simon. She must have been talking about Prosecutor Blackwell.
I heard some prison guards say that you had an interview with Simon. How was he? What did he say?
No, I can't tell her. How can I lie to Athena? He was doing well. He was happy about the possibility of being proven innocent.
He was. I wonder if he smiled, like he used to, back then.
If I can't prove Prosecutor Blackwell's innocence in this trial, I don't think Athena will ever forgive me. I just have to free him. Failure is not an option here. Oh, what the? Why are you here? Oh, I thought you might be here. Mr. Lawyer, we're in trouble. We are? What is it? I couldn't find a single open courtroom. They're all in session.
Oh no, but this is emergency.
It's very difficult to interrupt a trial once it's underway. What? Oh, great. My phone. It's from Trucy. Told you I'd give you 1 hour.
I guess it's time to pick one of the hostages.
No, wait! We still have a little more time! Besides, all the courtrooms are being used right now.
Make all the excuses you want. But you won't get more time. Your daughter is first. The poor thing. She's a little too young to die, don't you think?
No! Don't you dare hurt her! There has to be something I can do! The cruelest injustice is about to befall us!
No! This can't be happening! Mystic Maya, help us!
Wait a minute. Maya. Read somewhere you were holding a trial in the middle of an exploding courtroom? Must have been really something, although weird is par for the course with you. Oh, I see it. I got an idea. A courtroom. What? See? There is a courtroom we can use after all.
Okay, time's up. Too bad. Any last words you'd like to say to her?
Hold it! Aura, please don't add to the crimes you've already committed.
So you know who I am, do you? It wasn't like I was trying to keep it a secret anyway.
We're ready to start the trial. Blown up. We can hold it in the ruins of courtroom number 4. The one blown up by the bomber.
Oh, what a wonderful idea, Mr. Nick.
I never would have thought of that. At the start, an astonishing trial in an astonishing location. I guess it's only befitting. I'll go get the place ready right away. I didn't exactly pick a place for its astonishing factor. How about it? Are you ready to have your brother's innocence proven?
My brother. Oh, I'm sorry. Did I forget to mention? It's not Simon you'll be defending.
What? Not Prosecutor Blackwell?
I indict Athena Sykes on the charge of murdering her own mother.
She's hearing this, you know.
You'll be defending the little princess there, the one behind the glass.
What?
You and that mountain of rubble you've chosen for our courtroom, Mr. Wright. What is she talking about? Athena! Of course. Why didn't it ever occur to me? Or
Athena?
if Prosecutor Blackwell is innocent, somebody else had to have been the true culprit. Did I kill my own mother? Oh.
Oh boy. Huh? Cyclops? Why? Oh no. No way. It can't be true. Of course he's returned.
Mr. Nick, what's the matter?
I see 5 black Cyclops. I've seen these kinds of locks before. Dark, black locks protecting a secret hidden deep inside a person's heart. And there's no way to remove them. Well, that is one hell of a stopping point. You know what? I'm gonna do something a bit weird. I think I'm going to go ahead and end it for today, because I assume... I can't imagine this trial is going to take more than one day, considering the stakes at risk. Like, considering the stakes in this trial, I can't imagine that this is going to be a one-day thing. Or I can imagine it's only going to be a one-day thing, but it's probably going to be an extra long one-day thing. So I'll probably make the next stream the final stream of the game. So, yeah. I'm going to go ahead and end it here for now then, in that case. Thank you all so much for watching. Hope you enjoyed. Hope to see you all later. Peace.